Well. Welcome to Go Live. Thank you so much for joining us. What incredible intros from both gents. Love it. Love the effort. Love the effort. Thank you so much for everyone joining us on this dank Saturday evening. Happy Thanksgiving. I don't know if it's still Thanksgiving. I don't know. It's an American thing, but you guys love celebrating that. So happy Thanksgiving. I'm told turkey is involved. And thank you for joining us on this incredible weekend. We are kind of backing alongside Rand's show. So I was going to apologize. He should apologize to me. His show's supposed to be yesterday. But thank you so much for joining us. We're going to be getting into some incredible topics, but I have to introduce these two guests have been MIA for quite some time. It's been a couple of months, and it's good to have them back. The dastardly duo and
Team Glasses.
Team Glasses indeed. But before I even introduce you gents, I have to introduce the man who's now changed his setup and gone back in time to the green screen. It's Asa, the co-founder and co-host of GameOnDaily. Talk to me.
Oh, you were doing so well, Gaz. You were doing so well. Like, you started the show, you spoke almost as soon as you were on screen. I was so impressed, and then you had to auto-tune it out. Yeah, I just felt a bit nostalgic. I thought I'd bring back Sea of Thieves for one show only. I've got like a studio behind me that I should use, but I like this nice. For a little bit of warmth. It's cold in here today, so I've got the old fire back. And yeah, ready for a good show.
Very nice.
ASAP, bleeds green now, so
yeah, bleeds green screens. So it's good, man. It's good to have it. The resolution is really good. Normally green screens look crap, but yours looks really good. So yeah, it's good kind of to go back a little bit, and we'll be going back a little bit in terms of reviewing things. It's been it's a good chance to review things. A year has gone by since we were graced with the next gen consoles, but the topics won't be anything without these incredible guests and their dank tastes on it. That's right. We're going to go swim into some topics. And what better than this panel to kind of dissect some of the topics that have been dominating this week. A lot of controversies, a lot of hot takes. And yeah, I just want to swim in the sauce with these two gents. First and foremost, I always randomly pick these. Let me pick the guys grinning. Whoever smiles the most, it gets picked the most. Samurai KBG, one of the first few guests who had supported us when we first started this thing. Yeah, and honestly, it's not forgotten or ignored. So it's always a pleasure to have you on here, man. And since you were here, things have changed on your end, your background, your camera, your setup. Things have been moving, baby. Thank you so much for coming on, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm legit. It is so good to be here. That sounds like really like the cheesy. It's good to be here, but no, like I'm legitimately stoked to be back on GameOnDaily and the sauce. And yes, as you can see, it's been a while, but I have a new space to make bedazzles change if we want it to be red or whatever. I could do that and the shenanigans. Yeah, it's nice. So I'm looking forward to what we're talking about today with some awesome fellas and represent Team Glasses.
Yeah, man.
I see in the chat Tony Okami, Dexter and Mandark. Yes.
Yeah, that's Dexter and Mandark. Tony, you're such a piece of Tony. We don't ever change. Last but certainly not least is also a gent who I have had the pleasure of knowing for over a year. We first met on your show when Dealer foisted my presence upon your show, and it was since then we were joined at the hip. Mr. Mads Gaming, the Polish sensation, as I like to describe you as. Yes. Welcome.
Yeah.
How are you?
Well,
one day
I'm
you
alright, thank
unmute
you.
yourself. Yeah. Sorry. You good?
Yeah. Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, all good on my side. Thanks for the invite as always. Some interesting topics to talk about, some controversy as always, a lot of sauce. So yeah, really looking forward to it.
There's never really a shortage of sauce. And for those people who are wondering, the Sauce is a parody fun series. Please don't take it seriously. Otherwise, I will come for you. first topic. Before I actually jump into the topic, because it's been a while, I want to kind of know what you've been doing, because I want to get your headspace into things. Tony, you see, the reason why I really like you, other than you're a nice person and you've got a genuine personality, is that your tastes are quite diverse as well. And you're a Nintendo guy, you bleed Nintendo. I watched a video of you getting really emotional when the chap from Super Mario, was it Smash Brothers, resigned.
Yeah.
And I like that. It was really good. At the same time, I was thinking, really, why did you cry? But at the same time, I shed a tear inside.
Dude's been working on it for over 20 years, man. He did a good job.
Yeah, he did. He did really
Talk
did.
about Sakurai, chat.
Yeah, Sakurai. I'm talking about Sakurai. But what have you been up to? And where's your headspace at?
Not enough time. That's what I've been up to, man. We're gonna talk about just a little tease potentially. We're gonna talk about Halo a bit today, but man, I'm just ticked at the timing of that launch, because another topic today, they're both in the title. Battlefield and Halo kind of came out at the same time, and I'm like, screw you guys.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, just been bouncing around between a lot of Xbox stuff. Just finished Metroid Dread earlier this month. Dope game.
Oh, yeah.
Have a new job I'm pursuing currently anyways. And that's how I have the new room, kind of upgrading some things in life. And
nice.
yeah, Thanksgiving was rad. Am I the only American here? Question mark? I think so, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're both you're both UK and Portugal. Yeah. So yeah, Thanksgiving's been fun. Been seeing a lot of family. Like immediately after this stream, I'm gonna continue family shenanigans. So it's been a very nice week with
Good.
and
It's good to see the progression and good to see. And we'll talk into the whole issue with Battlefield and Halo in a bit. Mads Gaming PL, bro. I know you've been earlier this summer. You had changed jobs, you moved stuff, and now you're back to being settled in. I hope into gaming.
Yeah,
What are you playing?
I mean, you're talking about like, job-wise. Yeah, I've changed my job a couple of months ago and stuff, right? August, really. So, I've been actually loving this. I mean, to be honest with you, this is like the job, like, not necessarily I've been dreaming about, but like, it feels good. It's one of those jobs that it's like I get up in the morning and I'm like, yeah, cool. Let's do some stuff, right?
That's a great feeling.
Yeah, exactly. So
feeling.
I love it, and so yeah, I'm at. I would say that I'm at a good place in my life, right? So enjoying my job, family stuff, good as well. Doing gaming quite a bit as well. So played a little bit of Halo, Forza Horizon, of course, because I'm a big Forza fanboy, apparently, according to the Xbox history app. All games that are being shown on my list of games I've played the most. It's like Forza Motorsport 6, Forza Motorsport 5, Forza Horizon 3, Forza Horizon.
Oh, really?
4.
I didn't know you were a big Forza fan. Like Forza Owen is here.
Yeah. I'm a big Forza guy, and so I was quite surprised. I was quite surprised.
A lot.
Yeah, I was quite surprised. Yeah, so yeah. The other day I beat the Guardians of the Galaxy. So one of those games that really took me by surprise, and didn't really expect much from this game, and I was blown away. So if you haven't really played that game, guys, check it out. It's on sale or not everywhere really. So yeah. That's me.
That's good, man. That's good. There's a good thing about bringing that up. Tony, did you do that? Because I saw on Twitter about had a busy week. What did your stuff come up?
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I remember Asa tweeted about that, the whole history of Xbox, and I'm just like, what is this? Like, is this a thing that you can do? That's cool that you can just walk around. If chat doesn't know, it's basically like this metaverse thing you could walk around celebrating, your history of Xbox Live, because that's really what it is. It's just when you log on to Xbox Live. And I was shocked, but at the same time, not really, to see my most played game ever was Halo 3, because I put a disgusting amount of time into GTA 5. So that actually
is that what came up for you? GTA 5?
Yeah. And that, well, no, I thought it would be GTA 5. I thought for sure, because I put way unhealthy amount of time into that game. But it was really nice to see it was actually Halo 3. And I forgot how I just religiously loved that game for 2.5
I don't
years.
think that app is 100% accurate. I've seen some people complaining about, like, you know, they literally were saying that they never played that game in that particular year, and that game showed up for them as the most played game for that particular year. So I don't think it's like 100% accurate, but
Is
Neds,
that
you're
an
ruining my
app
dream
in
here.
a console? Because I haven't had a chance.
Sorry.
Is that an Xbox app?
No, you just go to a site. I think it's like xbox.com-museum or something.
yeah, it's museum.xbox.com.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I
While
believe
we're
it's-
chatting, I'll bring that up.
I'm for now going with it's Halo 3 because I always toss and turn if that or Kingdom Hearts 2 is my favorite game of all time. And just seeing Halo 3 up there, I'm like, you know what? That makes total sense. I'm going to go with that.
Yeah. Chat, let me know what your game was for in the Xbox Museum if you had a chance. Shout out to Zorka and Hoggy and Tony, you troll and risk it with the false teeth in the chat. Yeah, because Legacy is quite important. Ace has pulled up. Is that yours, Asa?
No, it's not signed in right now, but this is it live.
Are you doing it live?
Yeah, why not?
Oh my god.
You did it, though. I thought I saw a tweet of it.
No,
Yeah.
I have. Yes, I've done it on my phone. So mine is a devastating story because Microsoft's family sharing plans aren't good enough. I've got 2 children that both like their Xboxes. So one of them, you can do the console sharing thing. So 2 people, 2 consoles can access your games. That's just fine. But the third one, the only way to let them play my games library was to let them have me signed in the background. So my Xbox Museum said that for 4 out of the 5 years, my favorite game was Roblox. My favorite game of all time is
Come on, just
Roblox.
admit it. It's your favorite game.
I literally never played a
admit it, man.
second of it, and it's like
Don't have to lie, man. If we won't judge you if it's Roblox.
Yeah. Funny
People
that you
should
say that.
judge me if
I
it's
just
Roblox.
tried it this month. That game is crazy.
Yeah, my son loves Roblox as well.
It's one giant meme, man. It's crazy. Yeah.
It's one giant meme. Oh, that sounds like my kind of game. But yeah, this week has been dominated by a game that will be dominating the headlines very soon. Next week, I think we're going to get the review copy of Halo Infinite. We get to sample the campaign finally. So we have an embargo that's quite strict. I think it's a couple of days before the game's launch. But we'll be playing the campaign. So we'll be very intrigued to see how the campaign fares in those reviews. But in terms of the multiplayer for people who may not follow this on the Twitter or in the news space, it's been, I think, in my opinion, rightfully, but let's see what the gents say and what Asa thinks. It's been under fire. It's been under fire because of a multitude of different reasons, positive and negative. Resoundingly positive in the way the game is, apparently. The game, well, not apparently, I just came off playing it with Zorka in the chat. We were killing it. And the game is incredible. It's, in my opinion, the best Halo multiplayer since Halo 3. So that's a lot. That's a big... But let's see what the gents think. But in terms of the controversy, there are a multitude of things, but and I'll split this up in various bits. I can hear an echo. It's weird. But it'll be XP progression. That's been in the firing line. The cosmetics. And also I want to talk about... this may not necessarily be dominating the headlines, but it's the poor UI as well. I want to bring that into that. Tony, let's talk about Halo. First of all, we saw your video. Well, I saw a video of you, quite funny reaction to the moment it was revealed that the game multiplayer was going to be released as a beta. I say beta loosely. It's not, to me, it's not a beta. What are your thoughts after playing Halo Infinite? Then we'll
Like summary of overall, you mean?
just first generally what you think about the game. Are you happy with it?
Dude, the game itself is so much fun. It's so much fun. And that's what I wanted, you know, and I played all the flights. I was a part of all 3 of the flights they did.
Yeah.
And it plays very similar to those. And ever since the first one, I'm like, at its core, this is awesome. The equipment is such a game changer. The sound design is so phenomenal. If Infinite isn't nominated for audio design next year, I'll be pissed.
That's a good point. I never heard anyone say that, actually.
Dude, sound design is so good. I'm glad that I heard 2 reviews. They recognized that. And yeah, it's just the gameplay is so much fun. It's just the things surrounding the gameplay that is, we're going to talk about, but it's just really messy right now. And it is upsetting, and it's also like, I think just Xbox and 343 didn't know how to do a free-to-play game. To sum up thoughts on that, I'll go into more later, but yeah, it's upsetting what's going on around this awesome core that is a fun freaking Halo. Finally, it's a super fun Halo.
Definitely.
So that's what I'm doing. I put way too much time in already, but
yeah. And what about you, Matt?
20?
Have you had a chance? Well, you said you played it. What are your general thoughts on Halo?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I'll be totally honest with you. I'm not really big multiplayer guy, right? And I play, for the most part, like if I were to check what kind of multiplayer games I play, I would play, that's probably Halo or Battlefield. I like what they did with the multiplayer. I like the maps. I like the feel of the guns and everything about it. It's just like fun to play, and stuff with just friends clicks. And whatever. It's just like I usually play for like half of an hour, maybe an hour max, and that kind of stuff. I jump off and that kind of stuff, right? So that's the way I play these multiplayer games, and I love it. And the whole controversy is not really about the gameplay per se. It's more about the cosmetics and progression and that kind of stuff, right? So I'm not sure if that's going to be a separate segment for that, or should I express my?
You know what? As we're all the last to get the thoughts on it, tell me what annoys you about it. What are the negatives about it? And if it's specifics, go into it. Let's have an actual.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that anything really annoys me, because like I said, I don't really play a lot of multiplayer. If anything, I'm actually I'm waiting for campaign right now, right? And playing some Halo here and there. I'm kind of like playing all kinds of things right now, like Forza, a little bit of Halo, just beat the Guardians of the Galaxy and that kind of stuff, right? So it's not like I'm fully dedicated to Halo. And me personally, well, there's 2 things. Well, the progression, right? I mean, didn't they tune it a little bit? I think they did a little bit, right?
Because you mean?
Because the progression,
XP
because
progression on the battle pass,
they did a little bit. But apparently there's still some changes coming. So I'm not sure if that's coming in any immediate future, or is that like season 2 kind of changes? I don't think they said anything about it. So like. I've seen a tweet from one of the PR guys from 343, and he said that because obviously there's a lot of people like uninstalling Halo until the progression is fixed, right? Or people generally complaining about it, right? And that's fine, right? And they basically said we hear you. Right, and we've got some plans to kind of adjust it right now. The real question is what they're really going to do about it, right? Because is that going to be enough? We will have to wait and see, I guess, right? But this is like this is a game as service, so they will be tweaking it for the next probably couple of months, to be honest with you. So
a couple of months, I'm doing it quite a lot.
I don't think we should. I wouldn't expect any immediate kind of big changes, and I don't think that they will be able to make everyone happy, to be honest with you, right? So
I mean, generally, Mad's view is quite interesting because he's someone who isn't typically a multiplayer player, but he can perceive some of the slow progression, just trudging along, comparisons with other games. But really, these are games. He's not the core component of the game is what concerns him, and he's happy with that. What about you?
Yeah.
Sorry, Mad.
Actually, a good point, because I don't play to get the progression or whatever, new skins or whatever. I don't care. I can have the most plain character, armor, whatever in the game, as long as as long as the game is fun, right? So, but I'm unique, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's good. That's why you're here. It's good to get a view that's different from the echo chamber of like hardcore Xbox or Halo fans. Tony, you are bleed Halo, and very similar to me. What are your thoughts on what are the bigger problems of Halo Infinite that you alluded to around the game, that, like you said?
So I see someone in the chat, John Rocks, are Halo fans happy with Halo's new free-to-play direction? And to me, that's really what this boils down to.
Yeah.
This is the first Halo multiplayer that is trying to be free-to-play.
Yeah.
Literally the day they launched it, I had 2 people from like my patron community haven't played Halo in years, but they downloaded it because it was free-to-play.
Yeah.
And that's their goal with this free-to-play multiplayer being, not included with the package that is the $60 thing. And this Halo is it's not doing what 4 and 5 were somewhat trying to do. Like 4 was trying to get the loadouts that COD was doing and the kill streaks and stuff. And the 5 rolled it down a bit, but they still wanted that maneuvering stuff that like Titanfall is doing. But this one, they finally like owned, okay, this is Halo, and we can still have our cool sandbox. But the thing that they are adapting in this one is the free-to-play model.
Yeah.
That's what they're adapting in this one. They're not doing, for now anyways, Battle Royale or loadouts or whatever. They are trying to make a free-to-play Halo. And that's, I think, how this whole thing happened. And as somebody that is a fan, I loved seeing that the Steam base was super high. Like I was seeing like this is the highest peak an Xbox Game Studios game has had concurrent players of, even over Forza, surprisingly. Not downloads, not players, but like at one time players.
Yeah.
So that was cool to see, because another thing on a fan level, I think the reason people are freaking out is that they want Halo to succeed. Gaz, you said it before. You want Halo to be great again. It can't be good. It has to be great.
Exactly.
And the gameplay is great.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is the one thing holding it back, So
I know you're nailing it so well.
Exactly. That's the frustrating situation. So but it's probably because it's free to play. If it went the traditional route of $60, then I'm very curious, how different would the situation be? That's kind of a good question, really.
That's a very good question, actually. John Rock's asking straight to the core of the potential problem. I think actually it's not even a potential problem. I think it's a problem with the multiplayer, the symptom of it being free to play, but there are benefits to it as well. So it's not black and white. But as a hardcore Halo fan, I'm okay. Well, it's a beta. Remember, people keep saying it's a beta. I'll get into Battlefield in a bit, because a lot of you were like, it's a beta, man. And how's that turned out for you? But before we could do that, Acer's been sitting there silently. I want to get your thoughts on it. Acer, I have Pixel Slapper. Can you just chill in the chat? I don't know what. Should I be keeping an eye out on you doing a lot of weird stuff? Acer, into this week on Twitter, you said something that was very true. It's a fact. In my opinion, well, it's not my fact. In my opinion, it's a fact. Friendly reminder, you said. Nothing about free-to-play is corporations being nice or generous. Free-to-play is a revenue model that said corporations believe will maximize profits. Nothing more, nothing less. It is always astonishing how many people think free-to-play games are some sort of gift. Nail on the head there. The fact that you had to say that is interesting, because I've seen that as well. Like, it's free to play, like it's a gift. Explain your sentiments before I run away with the narrative. Then you accuse me of saying something that's not what you meant.
That's all good. That's all good. That's not. And I said in the follow-up tweet, that's not specifically about Halo. Halo's obviously very relevant to conversation today, because it's a game that's just come out free to play for the first time in 20 years, and it dominates a lot of conversation. But that's true of all sorts of things. And it was frustrating me at the point that you remember quite recently this year, Microsoft changed their policy to let free-to-play games through the gold barrier. And people celebrate that like it's a victory for the consumer. And it's better for a consumer than having to pay gold. But it shows a fundamental lack of understanding of what the free-to-play model is. And there's not a move for the consumer. The whole free-to-play model is based on taking away barriers for entry, getting people on board, and charging through the nose there. Sony didn't let free-to-play games through because they love their customers. They let free-to-play games through because that way Fortnite makes more money for them and Epic. It's got nothing to do with being nice to people. And you need that perspective. You need to frame it that way when you're looking at the way that any game, not just Halo, any game is delivered. And that's not me saying that free-to-play is always the wrong answer and nobody should play free-to-play games. It's just recognizing what the model is so that you can have a grown-up conversation about it. In Halo's case, I know it's not a good defense to say that it's not the worst case example. There are games doing worse, but Halo being what it is, being only customization items that are available, is actually a lot better than a lot of paid for games as well. So Halo's Battle Pass
in what sense?
And its system. Well, take for example, we spoke a little bit last week, but Battlefield, that we'll get to in a minute, is a full £70 game, and the unlock system in there is essentially pay to win. You get new weapons and gadgets as you go through. Right? You can argue that it's not. You can say, no, they're not better than the ones you start with, but you get out of my face. It's a pay to win system, right? You get advantages from leveling up. Halo doesn't do any of that. They've stuck rigidly to a principle that is that you get the game and it's only cosmetic items that are available. And they should be commended for that. There are definitely problems in the way that they're delivering it at the moment. There are problems in the way that you get these challenges and you get people ignoring the objectives because they need to 360 no-scope someone with a needler or something. I don't know. Like,
thank God that's not a challenge, but
well, the challenge is...
with a needler.
I know, it makes no sense, right? It's not supposed to, it's fine. But there's structurally some problems, right? But then season 1 of a Battle Pass, you played free-to-play games, it's always a throwaway season anyway. The cosmetics are bad. The fire that you get as a level 100 Battle Pass person looks terrible. If anybody equips it, I'm just going to laugh at them. Like, it looks terrible. And that's season 1 of a Battle Pass. Season 2 of a Battle Pass, they should get these systems in order. And you should get rewarded for actually playing the games. The only thing that I absolutely fundamentally disagree with about the way that they're delivering their free-to-play model at the moment, that I don't think is the case of tweaking, is these boosters.
Paid for XP boosters to skip levels?
Skipping levels is not great, but XP boosters, the consumables to double the rate of experience. So it's like a meter that you have to keep topped up as a consumable, so that if you're not keeping your meter topped up, you're leveling up at half the rate that you kind of could be. That's a nasty hook. That's like, it's vindictive. I don't like that as a system. But generally for Halo, I mean, they've got a great game. There's a lot missing from it. The free-to-play argument, I don't care. It's not a free-to-play game to me. It's coming out at the same time as the campaign. So it's a strange conversation. The fact that they're releasing it at the same time makes it a strange conversation. The fact that it's on Game Pass, or you can pay 60 quid, and this element that has for 20 years been part of Halo is now... It's part of Halo for marketing if they want it to be, but not if it's monetization. They're just going to do weird things like that. They're walking a strange line. But it's a good game, and I think they'll come good on the Battle Pass system.
That's very well said.
And for me, it's not enough to take away the fun. The fact, like, it helps me. It helps me. I know a lot of people get hooked on progression systems. For me, I'm making progress if I'm getting better at the game, and actually I couldn't really give a rat's ass about the cosmetics, so I'm okay. Like, in my little world, that's fine.
You're not
I understand
making progression.
But Gaz, we all know, everybody here has to be fully aware that the reason that Halo has this Battle Pass system and has gone free to play is purely the amount of money that you spent on Apex Legends. So how are you finding the monetization in Halo Infinite?
I'm loving it. More money, more problems. No, it's okay. I am the part of the problem because
how much did you spend already?
I've spent £60 already. I haven't spent any more because there's not much you can spend it on. I bought 2 sets thinking I could. We'll talk into why there's a problem there. Gone Mad, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Handsome fellas, thank you. The guests and Acer, certainly. Hoggy Channy, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Very generous of you. As always, Hoggy. I like the Halo MP. Don't care about the Battle Pass stuff. I get that people need to complain about something. It's doing so well, but that isn't it. Problems I have are mode selection, crossplay, and co-op delay. Okay, now you're my friend. That last bit. No, but I'll get into that, Hoggy. I get why the battle pass progression isn't that much of a problem to some people. I've had mixed people in party chat, played with loads of people, and the reaction has been I don't care or who cares, it's just cosmetics. But I want to kind of go around to why this is a problem for Halo, and you mentioned this for 15 years or nearly 14 years. That hasn't Halo 3 has prided itself on customizations that you would earn through doing stuff. So when someone saw a Hayabusa armor set in Halo 3, you were like, shit, that guy's, and he's got that katana, he's 100% completed it. Or he got the overkill, which was a nightmare for me because I was crap at the game. Maybe still am. Plat 3, just ranked alone, which is not that great, but I suck at the game. 1.2 KD. Let's talk about my KD. It's so bad. No, but that was a problem. Do you remember when you had to unlock customizations through achieving something, Tony? And then there was a level progression system. Even in Reach, there was a level progression system, not a battle pass one. And there's nothing like that. And people have been asking about that. And it's just dumbed down purely of spending money. That's the exercise, is spending money now. And that, to me, kind of dumbs it down. Where's the challenge?
Yeah. It's a significant change for sure.
It is for Halo. Other people say, other games. I've seen that. Oh, Call of Duty charges you this much for a thing, which I paid for the stupid tracer bullets and all that stuff. I know about the monetization and free-to-play games because I'm weak. I have a weak character to gaming gambling. I buy stuff because I see shiny things. But Halo's different because more than that, I would like Asa, you talked about progression in terms of skill in a game. But the game doesn't reward that other than just you being good and maybe the ranks. But the game did reward that historically for best part of a decade and a half. So stop accepting mediocrity because other games are doing it is my takeaway from it. In terms of the battle pass, in chat, please let me know, do you think the battle pass is good? Because Asa makes a point about the fire shoulders. I think the battle pass is crap. I barely look at it even because when do you get your first helmet at level?
It's like level 90.
81. Level 81.
Something like that. Yep.
What the hell is that, man?
It's ridiculous.
That's not going to change. That's crazy. So
season 2 will change. It will change, like in terms of progression systems.
Season 2 will change.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a fair while till we be playing season 1, right? And that's the thing.
But
I'm
as I said to you before, though, season 1 of a free-to-play game's battle pass, or I say free-to-play game, that's not the point in it. The season 1 of a battle pass is always like that because it's just not been a priority for the art team. It's a lot of assets and a lot of art for the monetization side of it. And season 1 on any game that has a battle pass system, and this isn't necessarily to say that it's okay that this is the case, but season 1 is always weak. The good stuff always comes later when all of those artists have moved on from the core game and they can focus on giving you good content to win. That's not necessarily a defense, it's just a point of fact. But
Yeah, definitely. Pixel Slapper says you said you're not playing till co-op was released. No, you said I'm not allowed to play till the co-op is released because I was asking for a delay. Two very different things. And Pixel Slapper, get off that crack. I don't know what you've been on today. Seeing him talking nonsense. The other thing I want to say, I can't not call out 343, but their marketing has been misleading. And gents, let me know what you think. And tell me if this is true in light of what we've played. This is their direct quote in their trailer. We're coming at this at a player first mentality. How? How is that player first? All of these rewards are single source, so you're never going to be confused where they're coming from. I guess the store, the UI is absolutely poor. It's so poor that I bought 2 sets thinking I could interchange the armor, but they didn't barely explain it. So it's like 20, 30, 40 quid on sets. I was like, damn it, man. And it says, if you can unlock something in the battle pass, we're not going to allow players to circumvent that by letting them purchase that from the storefront. And I hear that's not strictly true either. A lot of our stuff is unlocked through playing the game and only through playing the game. If you're talking about Halo 3 and Reach, that would have been true. In this case, it just doesn't seem like it. And you know, it's not just me saying it. Hidden Xperia, one of the biggest, most like older, prominent content creators of Halo-centric down to the core. Great guy, great channel. And he says Halo Infinite's microtransactions are absolutely awful. They are worse than any of us could have imagined, and they need to change. Generally a positive guy, and that's generally the takeaway from the XP. So hopefully it changes. Well, it will change. Question is, it's a bit a pill to swallow. About that, but I don't want to. In light of all of this, though, Halo Infinite is an incredible game. It's an incredible game, and one game that makes it look even better than it is Battlefield 2042. What a cluster! That game. So, recap. We were saying that when the beta, we had error cuts for the win on here and someone else, and she got flack for saying, well, come on, man, this beta is just releasing just close to the launch of the game. This doesn't look good. And lo and behold, Battlefield, and I wanted it to be great, it's filled with bugs. So many bugs, fundamental problems on hit detection, on bloom, on so many different things, like bugs and clipping and going through stuff. If you want to watch a great video, Donkey, he's such a G when it comes to his content. Watch his Battlefield video. And yeah, it's just, Tony, have you had a chance to even play it? Because I know this game bloody came out the same close to Halo Infinite.
I literally squeezed in nearly 3 hours of it just for this show. So I want you to know.
Oh, that's good. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but I've been meaning to play it. I just can't tear myself away from Halo and Back 4 Blood, actually. I forgot to mention that. But in terms of shooters, that's what I'm playing. But I gotta be honest, in those 3 hours, I didn't encounter that much.
Oh, okay. No, not many bugs.
I played it on a Series X, so I don't know how this is on a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, but I ran into some things. Like when I died, I would see like underneath the map or something.
Oh yeah.
And that happened every now and then. The biggest thing I kind of questioned that I heard people was saying was I would shoot people, and sometimes, not all the time, sometimes the bullets seemed like they weren't connecting, kind of a thing. And I was like,
yeah.
It's not because I was missing, because I'm hitting him dead on. I'm willing to admit when I miss, but it just seemed like something was wrong or something. It didn't happen constantly, but it would happen enough for me to notice, you know?
Yeah.
So if we're talking about bugs, that's what I encountered. I have more to say, but like in terms of bugs, that's mostly what I encountered.
What about your general takeaway from the game before going to Mads? What are your thoughts about this game, especially comparatively to Halo? Because like Danny Passion Official, thank you for $2 super chat. He's new at Halo and he can't stop playing it. I wonder if same people have the same kind of impression, newcomers to Battlefield.
I think 2042 currently, as my understanding, it seems specifically when you go to Portal like a very kind of big celebration of Battlefield in a sense, not quite. But it's like they want that to be it. It's just not quite it.
Yeah.
But it's the biggest in scope Battlefield has ever been. I tried out the 128 players. I was hoping it was crazy. I played the beta too. I feel like it's improved a little bit since the beta. Which I surprisingly didn't have as much problems with either. But I literally go on a Zelda quest I have to like, run everywhere on this map to get around it. And the 128 players, man, the map is so big. I just felt like I was playing Breath of the Wild. But then you go to there's the game type where it
Bring me some grenades. No, bring me some rocket launchers.
yeah. Just this is. You got anything?
Ammo. Yeah.
But the mode that like condenses it, it's like Operations in the past or Rush, where it's 64 condensing. That one's legit. But that's what I did. I spent kind of like time in every of the 3 modes that it offered. Mm-hmm. So the 128, I think it's cool. You know, I'm avoiding Conquest. Hazard seems promising. It's just like Asa was saying earlier, there's things about that progress the gameplay that kind of screw you over there. And Portal's awesome. I think Portal's dope. If you spend time in Portal, there's some fun stuff there. But yeah, it's not enough to tear. It's all right. Currently, that's my first impressions. It's all right, but not enough to tear me away from shooters like Back 4 Blood and Halo.
Yeah, I'm like you, Tony. I've hardly put any hours into it. I really wanted to, and I ended up playing Halo with Zorka for quite some time because it's just the hooks are there. But Mads, have you? You know, I know you're not a big multiplayer guy, but have you played in Battlefield? And what you think?
I did. Yeah, actually, out of many multiplayer games, actually I do like Battlefield, right?
Okay, that's good.
I played previous Battlefields as well. I think the biggest issue that Battlefield has is Halo Infinite.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Honestly, like I played the beta a little bit a couple of weeks ago. I didn't buy it. I've got EA Play, so still using that 10 hours trial. I play maybe 2-3 hours max. It's a fun game, don't get me wrong, if it works right. I mean, I don't necessarily like those big maps with 128 players because it's like KVG said, like it's just like it's more running than shooting, right? And snipers can make your life miserable as well, so I hate it.
So true. Especially Battlefield.
Yeah, exactly. So I like those smaller modes. I still haven't played the Portal, and I actually hear good stories about a lot of good stuff about that.
Best part of the mode. I will fight for it, man. Best part of the game.
Yeah,
everyone says that.
Exactly. So I still need to try it out, but again, I'm too busy with other games. That's the biggest problem with Battlefield. That Battlefield has is like Halo. Mm-hmm. I mean, nobody talks about Call of Duty anymore. Not that I've seen recently. Well, some people are playing Battlefield here and there, but mostly PlayStation guys probably. Everyone on Xbox plays Halo and PC, right? I mean, listen, if they fix it, I'm sure it will have its dedicated fans because it fundamentally. This game is good. Like it's Battlefield. These games usually are fun and stuff, right? If they fix it, if they fix the performance issues on consoles, for example, all these bugs. Like Digital Foundry recently made a video that Battlefield just stops for 3 seconds at some point on Xbox, like 0 frames per second for 2-3 seconds, right? That's
not good.
It's a broken game basically, right? So the problem I've got right now with many of these games is that there was so much concerns about Halo. Oh, it's going to be bad, it's going to crash, it will be crashing consoles, whatever, right? And they delayed it. So you can complain about all kinds of progression, these cosmetics and that kind of stuff, but the game actually works and it works well. I've heard some complaints about PC version of Halo during the flight tests, but sounds like they fixed it because I haven't really heard anyone complaining about PC version. I played PC version of Halo Infinite the other day a little bit as well, and it works well.
Yeah, and I'm playing the PC version with the controller though, because my TVs needs to be set up still dodge. But I'm playing on controller, and I will tell you, it's better on the controller. Even
reminder. I forgot.
Oh, reminder.
Cass inadvertently reminded me. If you green screen's ruined that. That's not what the controller looks like. The controller was like the one that Gaz had in his
That's what
hand.
the controller looks like. Here we go.
Here we go. Gaz has got the
So-
controller. So if you didn't notice already, we are running a little competition at the moment to win one of those controllers. I just held it up all boxed and wrapped, but you couldn't see the green, which is a shame. All you have to do to win one of those controllers or to enter the competition, not everyone's going to win, I haven't got hundreds of them, is follow the GameOnDaily Twitter account, retweet the competition tweet. I'll link it into chat in a minute. It's a 2-part answer that you're going to need to send to us. The first
How does that
thing you
work?
need to remember, write down. Gaz, you don't need to worry about it. First thing that you need to know if you want to win that controller, first part of the answer is, it's nice and simple. Remember this, it should be easy. GameOnDaily. Okay. Next week on this show, we'll give you part 2 of the answer. And you just need to send us that on Twitter in a DM, the full complete answer to say you've watched this week, you've watched next week, and then you'll be in the draw. We're going to do the draw.
So
We're going to check that the winner has.
us to say GameOnDaily.
No,
The
Gaz, that's
official
part
Twitter.
1 of the answer.
Oh,
They need to wait until they've got the complete answer, which is delivered. Part 2 of the answer comes next week. So you've got GameOnDaily, something coming next week. Once you've got that,
to complete that. Okay.
DM the GameOnDaily Twitter account and you'll be in the prize draw.
Ooh, that's not easy. That's easy. That's easy.
It is
Just,
easy. You made it sound really complicated with your questions there, so I may have explained it badly. But yeah, follow the Twitter account, retweet the tweet. Remember, GameOnDaily, you'll get part 2 of the answer next week.
And if they retweet, because I'm new to competitions, I've got that. You know those 4 Mario games, KBG, that I had. I still haven't got those. I still got them somewhere. Where are they? I need to give them away. I'll do that. That was a year ago. I'm so bad. They're here. So to recap, Asa, because I'm stupid. If they like and retweet the GameOnDaily official tweet, which is on GameOn_daily, I think, then they get more prize rolls, right? They get more of a...
Oh, Gaz. We really should have spoken about this first. No, it's simple. You follow the GameOnDaily account, retweet the competition tweet. When you've got the whole answer next week, send it to us.
Okay. That makes sense.
Okay.
What does the liking do?
It just
That's a
shows that you like
prerequisite
the
as well.
controller. It's really not.
Okay.
No.
So you have to like, retweet, and then answer. Fine. We're
You don't have to
forcing
like
people
so
to do that.
overcomplicated.
Oh, you don't have to
Retweet.
Said like. I swear
No,
the
I
tweet
didn't.
says like.
Retweet, follow, give us the answer. Seamless.
Retweet, follow, give us the answer. Why did you say that at the start? Okay, so this is why Asa organizes the competitions.
Yeah, because that went
it does
so
say that.
smoothly,
Follow,
didn't it? Yeah.
retweet. You have to follow. Sorry, I missed. I got confused with the like. You have to follow us, retweet that thing on GameOn_daily, and DM the answer next week, Saturday, which is the 4th of December. Oh, it's December already. Yeah, we did it. And you went one of these. It's a dank control. By the way, for people, we saw this last week, but look at that 117 thing there. It's really nice.
Yeah,
man.
it's
This is why I
cool.
play on. It is nice. It's so dank.
Nice.
And even these like the black, it's just so nice. It's really. This is dank control, and this feels so nice. The rubber pads, and I'm usually not into like I like my minimalist kind of hardware, but this looks. Let's just look at it. It's sexy. So yeah, good
Exactly.
luck.
So enter the competition.
Enter the competition. You'll win some dank stuff. Why is the controller messing me around? Oh, it's flashing. The Xbox is on. Great. So yeah. So there's that. Someone in chat. Let me catch up with the super chats. No, there aren't any. I'm an idiot. What I did want to talk about was it was Danny Passion official in chat. He says Halo is killing it, and he was saying that as Mads was talking about Battlefield and the mind share of people. The problem with Battlefield, though, this is a problem that we talked about previously in our show. Battlefield can't afford to launch like this because of what happened with Battlefield 4. It will get fixed. Battlefield 4 got fixed, but by the time it got fixed, and that was a year later, if I remember correctly, the player numbers had waved. The player numbers had gone. It was a it would have been completely different. It had a launch game that worked well.
So important.
It was. And this now, Tony, do you have confidence in DICE anymore? Because to me, I'm really disappointed in DICE. I don't know if COVID is a valid excuse for the performance of Battlefield at launch. They have apologized.
Last game they did 5.
Huh?
Did they do something after 5? Battlefield 5? I can't remember.
It was 1, then 5, then this.
Yeah, I mean in terms of Battlefield, but I know like they bounced back and forth between Battlefront and Battlefield, but I think 5 was the last game they did. I mean, I've always personally loved DICE. The reason I got into Battlefield was specifically the Bad Company games, and I freaking adore those so much to this day. And it's more so just them nailing what they know works, and I think they embrace they embrace this game. People primarily play our stuff for the multiplayer. That's what they do, and so they went bold here, not having a single player. But
they started the series as multiplayer only game, really.
It was multiplayer only, always.
There you go. Exactly. So it's kind of like a full circle, and them
they went to the roots.
Is like them doing Portal is like straight up them acknowledging that too. Here, play a modern version of 1942 if you want to.
But isn't that bad, Tony? Isn't that bad that the best part of your new game is the old stuff, or the ability to play the old stuff?
That's a good point. Yep, I think that is kind of a risky business thing. Like, so I highlighted this earlier. Bernard Miller, he said, the destruction of Battlefield 2042 seems kind of weak compared to the older ones. However, the weather effects are awesome. I would agree, by the way. Weather effects are awesome to me personally. But the thing that made Battlefield stand out when COD was becoming big and Halo was becoming big was the destruction. And I remember your bit on this, Gaz. And I feel like the last time they nailed that destruction was Battlefield 1. Because you could make those craters, you just level buildings. It looked like a completely different place after the battle happens. And this one, they don't do that. They kind of have a bigger scale with the weather and more players, but they gotta try to put in all the stuff that just makes them separate from everyone. That's the thing. You gotta stand out in this age that everybody does their own thing. Halo's doing that with equipment. There's no game that's rocking equipment like Halo is right now. So
it's a shame. The game, well, I'll reserve, I might be working on a video on it actually. I don't know if anyone will watch it. It's a bit late, but I'll reserve my thoughts on Battlefield. Asa, a lot of what Mads was saying was actually something you were saying for quite some time, that you felt like a little ant in this Battlefield, and that's the comparison with Halo. You feel like you're a hero because it's more skill based, in my opinion, than Battlefield by far. What's your take on Battlefield and your experience? Because you played it, and I think you said it is a grand spectacle, but your contribution seems negligible.
The thing, so I've always said that about, well, I probably am, to be fair, but that's what I've said about Battlefield for a long time. That's not new to this series. And like Kibiji says, that's like, it's maybe on an even bigger scale, so you're even more insignificant now than you were before. But that's always my takeaway from a Battlefield game. And when you say it's like a Breath of the Wild quest, it is, except those quests don't end with me getting run over by a tank. So, at least at the end of it, there's some payoff in that. In this one, I'm like, trips across the desert. 3% across the desert. There's some. I got sniped in the back of the head, and every time.
So annoying.
And then that happens like 5 times over the course of an hour. I don't know. It's like not literally an hour, but it's a long old game, and you traipse across the desert a few times. You get shot a few times. You do absolutely nothing, and then it says victory. And you just like, why was I here?
At least you won.
Yeah, but why? Why am I here? Like, the scale is not always a good thing.
It reminds me of Planet Side. Yeah.
But I didn't have bugs. Right, I've not played it that much. I'm sure there are still bugs in there. I played the beta, and it was a hell of a mess. I played the launch game. I was like, it does seem to work now, more or less. Broadly speaking, it seems to work now. But like previous Battlefields, it's so impressive, and you see other people having like helicopter crashes and all kinds of fun, and it's like, wow. That's not what I'm doing. I'm not having fun at all.
And Leo says that's why you need a decent squad. Really, I think that's a prerequisite to enjoying the game almost, which is something you don't. Well, let me just get something off my chest. People on Halo ranked are. Don't solo it. Don't solo it. I got to Plat 3 by some miracle because no one does the objectives. Halo is one of the most infuriating games I've ever played in recent memory. I swear like I have Tourette's when I'm playing that game. I am raging so hard that I'm disgraced at myself at the things that I'm saying. I'm like, you it's constant. And there's loads of reasons why. One, there's no region filter, which I talked about last week. It gets shot round corners. I hate that. Gravity hammer. Does anyone else experience how inconsistent that bloody thing is? I get hammered from miles away. This guy's right for. I've taken clips. I will share it.
Yeah, good guys.
Why is it not working? Don't you get good me? Don't you get good me? Shout out to Cole in the chat. He needs to get good. It's just so frustrating. It's so annoying. It's like, why am I shot around the corner? Why is that gun not working? And yet I'm sucked into this game, and that's. No, well, you find
because stuff is constantly happening, I would argue. You know, stuff is constantly happening. You feel like, I love the example you said earlier. You feel like you're a hero on this battlefield, whereas the other one you feel like the ant. I thought that was a good comparison, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do see folks earlier saying, but that's how Battlefield is. You've always felt like an ant, and I'm just, I can see that point. It depends on which one. That's my retort. It depends on which one. Because I personally was not that into Battlefield 3 and 4 because those were the modern ones. And when you're modern, you are shooting people millions of miles away somehow because you have efficient scopes and stuff. But 1 and 5, it was a bit more clustery. And I would even argue Bad Company as well. They somehow managed to make the action cluster a lot better. Whether it's like bad weapons that you have to be up close or making the map smaller, they had ways of containing the action and making you feel like that hero a bit better. Yeah. But 2042, because you have modern scopes and stuff, you are shooting across the map and running miles to do it.
Yeah. So it's kind of highlighted the problems with it. But
Breakthrough is awesome. No. Sorry, I see Gogol saying that. Breakthrough is awesome. I dig Breakthrough. That's what I love. Yeah.
Yeah. I maybe need to play something. Get good. Shit. 1v1 me, Shinomuri, if that's your name. Dan Lazar, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Oh, Dan does not like anyone saying anything bad about Halo. He does not like it. Dan, you just hate it. But thank you for the super chat. A whole lot of complaining, a lot of gaming. Hey, listen. 1v1 me on Halo. That's a good sign of a game. And 1v1 me at Rust, no scope. Yeah. So, oh man. And a feeling. One of the things I don't like is that you can't have like lobby chat that much. Well, you can, but it's like instead in games because of party chat. I miss that. People insulting me and my family and all sorts. But I love the banter in those games. But yeah, Halo just generally is a fun game. The future is bright for it. It has problems around it, but thank God it's not the gameplay. And it's not just good. It's exceptional. It's exceptionally good. When I've got people like Wilmy Hood who never played Halo are hooked, addicted. You know, my younger brother, he bleeds Sony, and him watching him play that, I was like, wow, he's playing Halo. It's a big deal. Like, this is the game. This is the multiplayer game you need to play. It's free to play, unless you want to look like a non-ashy Spartan, like Lord Cognito's saying in his on his show. Because the default skins, the game is evil. I'm sorry, the battle pass isn't all that great, but in order to look good, you need to pay. Otherwise, you're just gonna look terrible. Unless the samurai kit, which is long as well.
That minor thing that does upset me on Halo is you go into the little esports shop section, and those skins all look really nice. But it's I don't know who any of these teams are or any of these people are, and I don't want to represent them. I want nice armor that doesn't associate me with some people I've got no idea about.
I didn't think of that. Yep.
That's a great point, because and that brings me back to what I was thinking when I was writing these topics up, and I was listening back to what 343 was saying. Coatings offer us a unique opportunity to craft some hyper-polished something hyper-polished that lets you express yourselves in unique ways like you've never been able to before. Really, we're just repping the esports team. Go to the HCS shop. The best kits are in the HCS shop. It's FaZe, and there's a Fnatic. That's the one I've got. That's the best one. Is you're repping other teams. They're not, and they say, and then there was it. The body of customization content on day one ensures that there will be millions of customization options in the battlefield. Lies. But there's a problem.
That was their
they
word.
need to fix it. Yeah. Season 2, fix that shiz. Get good players. Or give good players the option to get, so people in chat.
And also, guys, give guys opportunities as well.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Like KD's positive, guys. We'll hop in together, do some rank. We're good.
Yes, do it. Let's do it. Shout out to 150 plus people in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to stop complaining and talk. Well, actually, no, that's not true. Let's see what the next topic is. But before we do that, let's see. Danny Pash Official, thank you so much for the super chat. He goes, I got Far Cry 6 with the idea of trading it for Battlefield 2042. And after playing about 8 hours of Battlefield and Halo, my mind changed, and I'm keeping Far Cry 6. Far Cry 6 is a good, actually, that's a, thank you for the super chat. That, I enjoyed that game. I haven't completed it, but it's a solid game. Obviously not a multiplayer game, but I would hold on to Far Cry if it was me. And Halo and Far Cry is a good, we'll sort yeah. Depends on what kind of game. I'm not writing out Battlefield, but I was a big Battlefield fan. I'm just not, it hasn't got the hook that Halo definitely has. One thing I wanted to touch upon this because this made me laugh. Had a busy week, but some tweets were going viral. This one was hilarious. Spider-Man. Spider-Man in Marvel's Avengers. This is by far the most funniest, embarrassing thing. I'm sorry, devs.
Exclusive.
I remember some people like in the community. It comes up in my feed. You can't even hide some of these people. And they were repping. So, we got Spider-Man and Marvel Avengers exclusively on PlayStation, right? Yeah, on PlayStation. And then they showed off what the game looks like. I've seen some clips of it. Now, someone on Twitter was making a good point, actually. He said, if it wasn't for the Spider-Man games in the Amazing Spider-Man 2018 and Miles Morales or whatnot from Insomniac, perhaps we wouldn't be so inclined to make fun of it. I don't know. If Asaf, you're able to do your magic and pull that out, that'd be great, but I know it's a tall ask. Very quick fire one. Tony, have you seen what this looks like? Chat, let me know if you have, because I think it's so shit. I mean, I feel bad for saying that, because someone's taken their time, not that much time, clearly no time at all to model this. What is this, man?
I'm actually looking at it through the stream because my answer is no, I haven't. Okay, now it's gone. But now I've been hearing something. I don't know what's been going on. I just know something, and I just saw that little bit there, and I don't understand what that model was. I only was looking at it for like 5 or 10 seconds, but in my mind, I'm just like, is this from... What is this? So
Yadani says Spider-Man on Avengers looks like that's the meme where Spider-Man is slapping another Spider-Man's bum. Looks like he has finger guns. It's so stupid. It just looks silly. Mads, have you had... You love it, don't you?
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah. No, I've seen that Spider-Man, and I think I mean, we can laugh at it, and I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, it looks kind of silly in comparison to the Insomniac Spider-Man, of course, but they are masters of the animation and that kind of stuff. They're doing a terrific job with the amount of details, animations, and that kind of stuff, right?
They are very talented.
Yeah. So I mean, I agree with that comment that if it wasn't for the
28.
these Spider-Man games from Insomniac, maybe we wouldn't be that critical towards this one. But it does look a bit silly if you see all these comparisons and stuff. But I think that the biggest problem with the Spider-Man is not necessarily the character itself, but just the fact alone that they just thrown that character without any mission, story, and that kind of stuff. That's the biggest problem with this.
That's a great point.
And because I've read somewhere that Crystal Dynamics, so they are working on it. They did promise, I think or maybe somebody else did promise some story missions for Spider-Man and that kind of stuff, right? So that was the plan, I think, right? But couple of days ago, Crystal Dynamics basically said that they don't feel good making some side stories just only for like one platform, right? Because like they were like, so we've got all the, because this is not the first.
They said that.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's very interesting.
In an interview, they don't feel they basically said that they don't feel good about making extra content just for one platform for exclusive, right? Because they did the Black Panther but so it has its own story and that kind of stuff, right? That's a proper job, and they said no, we're not doing that, right? Listen, I have no idea if it has anything to do with the fact that they are working with Microsoft right now, and they just don't care at this point. That's probably the thing as well. So I don't know what's going on between Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix, right? So their relationship is kind of broken right now. So maybe they said like, I wouldn't be surprised if Square Enix said like, make some missions for them, right, for PlayStation, and they said, fuck off, we're not doing that, right? So I wouldn't be surprised at this point. I mean, listen, 2 weeks ago, Square Enix thrown them under the bus, right? Basically saying that they are shit developer, basically, kind of,
what?
Right? So
really?
No, they did say that that they realized that they were not the best pick for that kind of game, right?
Is that what they
did
said?
say that.
Is that
Yes.
what they've said?
Square Enix did say that about Crystal Dynamics.
It was like the chief exec came out and said like, it was a mistake giving Avengers to Crystal Dynamics, and he took no responsibility from Square Enix's point of view at all. It was
how did I miss that? That is sauce. I missed some sauce.
There's some interesting dynamics between Crystal Dynamics and
Crystal Dynamics? I was seeing dynamics between Crystal Dynamics and Crystal Dynamics.
Oh, okay, well that's my English right now. So anyway,
but that's good.
Also, I mean, there was wasn't there some comments regarding the Eidos Montreal as well recently. I think there was an article saying that Square Enix is not really happy with the financials results of games that were made by
anyone ever,
or like.
What? How
no,
did you miss
really?
This? No way. So. There's the reason probably why Marvel's Avengers is shit anyways, because they told them probably, see, Crystal Dynamics put this monetization model in there that's killed the game. Now they blame the devs on it. Crystal Dynamics are mad talented. You can't say that.
Exactly. To be fair, like, I beat Guardians of the Galaxy 2 or 3 days ago, and that game was great, but it's a story focused single player game, and it's great, right? So like, at least maybe they didn't make a lot of money, but the game actually is very, very good, right? Because that's what they do, kind of single player games, right? So if Crystal Dynamics were given a job of making Avengers a single player game, they probably would do a great job as well.
Incredible job. They're very talented.
But exactly, but that didn't happen, so it's crazy what's going on between the Square Enix and their Western studios.
What's really weird though is he didn't come out. This chief exec didn't come out and say like, "Look, this was the wrong fit. We shouldn't have given a live service game to Crystal Dynamics. I hold my hand up. I'm stepping down. This is my fault." He was just like, "No, it's their fault. It's their fault. I gave them the game. I'm acknowledging that it was a mistake." But Crystal. So the Spider-Man thing though. it's a little bit blown out looking at this Zumba animation, because I think in any Spider-Man game, if you run along on the ground spamming web shoot, you're going to look a bit silly. So it's a little bit harsh on the animation
looks
front.
like PJs.
It's funny as hell, and Colt's picture of the the gymnastics thing that went alongside it cracked me up. But it is, I think, in action, the animations won't look as silly as they do in the little clip that's flying around, right? Because you don't run around going web, or you shouldn't. But yeah, it's a hell of a story. Spider-Man and the Avengers thing, it's done so much harm to the game. Everything about the live service stuff in it would have come to a head anyway, and people would have fallen out with it. But the Spider-Man exclusivity thing just put it on such bad energy from the moment it was announced, and the fact that it's coming out like this with no cinematic story. It's all like audio recordings and a couple of drawn cutscenes.
Lazy.
And their reason's quite valid. Like they said, they don't want to put loads of time and effort into big budget content that only a fraction of the player base is going to get to play. They want to put their focus and their energy into the content that's shared for everybody. Of course they do, right? Of course they do. And if that's what the contract has demanded, then that's the Spider-Man you get. It's a shame for Crystal Dynamics, but they're, like you say, they're mad talented. And Square Enix being unhappy with sales is surely a running joke. Like, they're happy with Final Fantasy VII Remake. I've not seen them complain about that. But the whole Tomb Raider trilogy, the Neo game that came out, the Avengers game, Guardians of the Galaxy, everything that Square Enix release, I have these lofty expectations for, and they screw them up and blame everybody else. And it's like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
How many
whoever's
copies,
making these estimates.
How many copies of Final Fantasy VII Remake they sold? Do we have any sales numbers?
Don't know.
I'm assuming very high. Really?
I said I don't know. I don't know what it is, but they haven't come out and said that they don't like that one. So.
Yeah. Well, there was a joke somebody said earlier where it's like, well, when's Square ever happy with Western developers? Somebody said that earlier. You know what's kind of crazy though is that this was a big marketing thing. This is the only input I really have on this. Is this was a big marketing feat for Square and PlayStation, because they were promising, you can play this on every platform. But if you get on PlayStation, you will be the only ones that can get Spider-Man. And what I find kind of sus, my Among Us guy comes up and says sus, is that this was pushed back so far, and they gave so much effort to Hawkeye and especially Black Panther. It seems like Black Panther got a ton of content or whatever. I don't know. It's just my spectating eyes. But it's like they saved Spider-Man for way later on in the game to kind of drag this out. And everybody's just like, when's Spider-Man coming? When's Spider-Man coming? And then when it finally happens, it's this. And I find that weird. Wouldn't you right away give the promise, and you give that one the budget too, because that's where people are going to get excited.
Yeah,
that's why they got it on PlayStation.
It's bloody Spider-Man.
And if the Spider-Man one's great, then it's like, boom, we got people. Let's make a great Black Panther one. Let's make a great Hawkeye one.
Yeah.
But they did those first and then did this with Spidey. I find
that's a very good point. That's a good point. The priorities are weird. Maybe it is because of those pre-existing whatever reasons and it being segregated to one platform. Yeah.
That's what I think, to extend the lifespan. And people are waiting for it. And then the thing they're waiting for doesn't even get I'm thinking, again, spectator standpoint, even a third or a fourth what the Black Panther stuff did. Imagine so. So those relationships being frayed is very important when the exec comes out and publicly points fingers at you as a dev. If I was working there, I'd be so pissed, who are you to say that? And then watch that space. Microsoft buy Crystal Dynamics. Dynamics. You're gonna partner with them for one game coming up.
Yeah, so that's where the Perfect Dark thing is going to be very interesting.
Well, that and the I forget what it's called, the contraband. Yeah.
Oh, and contraband. See.
Yeah.
Contraband's not
Things
Crystal
are
Dynamics.
happening.
I think so. Or no, is that
Avalanche.
Avalanche or Crystal Dynamics?
That's
Avalanche.
Yeah, never mind. My bad.
Fuck,
Yeah.
Tony, what the I just agreed with you. Like, yeah.
I mixed those two studios up so much, and that, my bad.
That's all good. Danny, thanks so much for the $5 super chat. Took me down with you. I just wanted to let everyone know I caved and got a Halo armor coating that doesn't make me look ashy and dusty. Hashtag ashy Spartans looking less scrubbish. It's their diabolical plan. I'm sure you bought the HCS armor as well. One of those clans. How lucky are they? They get their own. I guess if you're good, they're rewarding skill there. Ultimately, they get their own skins that we all pay for to rep their team. That's so. I'm just mad at my inadequacy and not being an esports team, but at the same time, come on, man.
You can do it, guys. I believe in you. Keep practicing.
I'm way too old for that. Bernard Miller, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. When has Square been happy with any Western studio? It's a good question.
They've been complaining a lot because I remember the Outriders kind of drama as well, where they said that they didn't want to pay them some bonuses because apparently they didn't hit some sales numbers and stuff. So, and apparently that was not the first time they did that, apparently, but I don't know.
Is it me or Square Enix sound like an absolute shit place to work, or have as your bosses as the publishers? Because
I mean, they're still ranking way above Activision and Ubisoft on that one, right?
Yeah, and it depends too. Like, man, as somebody that can vouch, I waited so long for Kingdom Hearts, and I think that's because they're just like, no, I release when ready.
Yeah. Well, that's a good notion, time. But Square and Square copyright things. Everything if you're a YouTuber as well. Oh my god, they're so aggressive. What's up with these?
Yes, they are.
You're just lucky the Activision are run by Bobby Kotick of all people. Thank you so much, Chaz UBCS. Chaz UBCS, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. It's very generous. Battlefield 42 is slop and Halo Infinite needs more fine tuning. The gaming industry is so incredibly sad. People keep eating their slop and paying. Wow, that's very aggressively worded there. I don't think Battlefield is slop, even if it's comparative. It just needs work. But it's a shame it's happened again, hasn't it? It just couldn't. DICE, I'm nowhere near as confident as I was before with you. But yeah, he said, that's a hot take. It's hard being right. Okay, Chaz. It's good to own that. Speaking of lost trust, and actually, what's happening with the gaming industry? So I have these two topics here, and they seem overtly negative. This week has been a bit weird with gaming news, and these are the topics. Generally kind of negative, but hopefully with positives as the gen goes on. But Rockstar, have Rockstar lost our trust? What can they do to regain it? This was a question that was being asked by some journalist outfit. I forgot. Is Rockstar? Then the next topic, actually, why am I telling you that now? Rockstar, let's just keep it simple. Mads, I want to reach out to you. Talk to me. Rockstar, the GTA trilogy was so embarrassing that they apologized. Rockstar said they'll fix it, but it was so lazy that Digital Foundry's video, and it's great, by the way. There's bugs that they came in. They didn't even get texture sort, and you can see the opacity of the old one is so lazy. That the fact that Asa mentioned this really well last week, that when fans can do better fan service or deliver a better expansion or whatever remake than your studio, isn't that embarrassing? People are pissed now.
It is embarrassing, but there's one thing we need to add to it, is because like you said that they are being lazy, but the thing is that they haven't made that game, right? So like we can complain about their quality control and that kind of stuff. I don't know who tested these games. But that game was made by third-party studio, so that particular port, right? So and that port was made from mobile port, right? Because like original GTA games were ported to mobile phones, right? Android, iOS, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
They were made on Unreal, I think, or something like that. And then that mobile port now got ported to next-gen consoles, right?
How does that happen though?
Well, I don't know, but the thing is, like, you know, so it wasn't if they've taken the source material for like the old consoles and then ported over to the next gen, that would be probably would work better. I mean, I'm just guessing, right? But that's not what they did. I mean, and that was not made by Rockstar. That was made by I don't remember the name of the company, but that they outsourced it, right?
Yeah.
But still, you know, it's on them because they should have, you know, had some checks in place to make sure that the game, you know, meets some certain standards and that kind of stuff, right? So, you know, it's a shame because like I enjoy these games anyway, despite all these problems and that kind of stuff, because obviously that's just nostalgia is talking through me, right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm old and I'm getting nostalgic a little bit once for a while after a few drinks.
Me and you
especially.
both. Yeah.
So, you know, like, but, you know, it's a shame. And I really do hope they fix it. And, you know, some of the stuff like rain, right? So Digital Foundry complained about the rain. That, you can't see anything driving in the rain. 2 days, blah, bum. So some of these things they reacted so quickly. So some of these bugs were kind of like quick fixes and stuff. But I think that the biggest problem with these games right now is the performance on, you know, especially on the last gen consoles, but even next gen consoles, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X. 12 teraflops of power, and it can't
run bloody GTA Vice City. Are you kidding me?
Exactly, you know, so
3 gens old.
Poorly optimized game, and you know, I just hope they fix it at some point. People complain about the art style and stuff. I don't think that's going to change much, at least, but if they fix it, if they put extra work into it, like, you know, in a couple of months, and they drop the price a little bit, I think it will still sell and it will be a good pick, right? But right now it's it's not great, which is a shame.
It is a shame, but Tony, back of that, Mads is of reasonable view. Look, it's not them doing it. They can fix it. They fix stuff overnight. It's not good enough ultimately. But let's go a bit broader than that. This is Rockstar. That's been on. Whereas we haven't had a GTA game in what? 2 generations? A whole of last gen, we didn't see a GTA game. That GTA 5 has been since the 360 PS3 days.
GTA 5 is going to be on 3 generations.
That's ridiculous. Wild. They did Red Dead, and that's it, which is a great game, which I haven't played. But Rockstar had a different pedigree. Now I find it hard to defend them. What's your view on Rockstar? Do you think they will? What will it take? The question was, what will it take for Rockstar to regain your trust? And chat, let me know as well. Chaz says, outsourcing should be illegal. How dare you outsource your baby? That's a kind of. He's very strong with the way he words things, but there is some point to be made there. What do you think?
So first off, I got to do something for Tony Akami here. Just get in the chest. There you go. Hit the like button, buddy. Hit the like button. I took the vest off. All right. Yeah, sorry. I'll hit the like button once Steven takes the vest off. Second, now you got to hit the like button, buddy. Second, I gotta be honest. I still hold Rockstar as just one of the best goddamn game studios out there. And like, if this was outsourced, I'm sorry, but like, this is gonna sound super biased. You said you never played Red Dead Redemption 2. That is the most amazing game I think I have ever freaking played in my life. I almost swore that.
Are you serious? Really?
Not my favorite. It's not my favorite game of all time. It's just the most strictly impressive I have ever touched. And if they can do that, I imagine whatever they're doing next, I guess this is a way to stall for that. They're like, look, we're going to make our next masterpiece. Unfortunately, they're probably now like a Red Dead and GTA machine, maybe. And it's like, to stall for that, I guess them and 2K or whatever, we're gonna have to do some other things in the meantime. But I don't know, man. Like, as long as they themselves are working on like all out on whatever project it is, I have faith it's gonna be awesome. But
Yeah.
Whatever they outsource, we'll see. I don't know. That's interesting. I did not know that was the case.
I didn't know that either. Asa, do you want to talk about Rockstar before we go into CD Projekt Red and
Yeah, I do.
Cyberpunk? Talk to me.
You asked what it would take for Rockstar to like win back your trust. For me, I'd want 5 $1 million shark cards for Grand Theft Auto Online. I've never played Grand Theft Auto Online. I don't want shark cards. I hate the concept of shark cards. But like Tony says, when Rockstar deliver a mainline game, you stand to attention because they're a phenomenal studio, and it's publisher versus developer. It's not the developers at Rockstar that are saying milk every edition of Grand Theft Auto as hard as you can. So Rockstar still have maximum respect, and they probably hate seeing what's going on with the Grand Theft Auto trilogy more so than the people playing it.
Yeah,
Much as they can't admit that.
That's a fair point. Which leads me to the next one, because you've now said it's a publisher problem, not a dev problem. I think with Cyberpunk, things get a little bit blurred about where the problem lies. So Cyberpunk, CD Projekt, right? They had an interview this week, and they said very confidently, Cyberpunk will be seen as a very good game, and it's seemed to make a resurgence. There have been some updates. Like some of our people in chat, I have some strong views on that, but I don't want to lead this. This is about our guests. Tony, talk to me. Tony, aka Samurai QBG. By the way, I keep saying Tony, but his name tag is Samurai QBG. Tony, talk to me about Cyberpunk. One, I want to know, because I don't remember now, what's your view on it, Cyberpunk, if you've played it? And two, what's your view on the notion that Cyberpunk will be a good game later, future?
Admittedly, I need some context as to why this is coming up. So what triggered this?
It's
like,
literally
because
it's a year past release. It's selling okay on Steam at the moment, and they said that it'll be kind of looked at as a good game in hindsight at some point.
Also, just wanted to add that people that buy it on Steam now is giving that game positive reviews. So
yeah, I saw that.
When you check on Steam now, it's like mostly positive reviews. That's why they say that that will be a good game in the long run, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It might have become a good game in the long run. I just said big him in a weird way, but I was listening to the episode. Was it last week? I think it was last week. You guys were talking about the Game Awards.
Yeah.
That game got nominated for Best RPG. Yeah. And that was controversy in itself. I was seeing some folks say where it's like, that's absolutely ridiculous. It shouldn't be. And I'm like, for the people that got the game to run, wasn't it awesome? Like, for the people that didn't experience bugs, no? Okay. I thought I was hearing like it wasn't as good as people wanted it to be, that for sure. But I thought I was hearing folks that got it to run. It was pretty neat for all the different paths you could take away. I still haven't played it. That makes it clear that I haven't played it.
Yeah. The different parts, when you mentioned that's where I get to say no. That's where they misrepresented the game.
Okay.
But ultimately behind that, if you take away the scope of what they were aiming for, all the fancy wording and whatever they promised, behind that is a very competent general RPG. I wouldn't say that it should be not nominated when Forza doesn't get nominated, which is crazy. But at the same time, like, I take issue with that, and I'm just going to throw some spice out here. CD Projekt Red or whoever, whoever says it's just the management's fault. It's not dev's fault, and I don't know where the fault lies. I think it lies in both. People are doing this in absolutely it's the publisher, absolutely it's the dev. I think it's a bit of both. Publishers are vicariously liable because they have to manage teams, but plus they push these possibly ridiculous deadlines and realistic ones, and then delayed piecemeal, which doesn't help. But developers are in charge of making the game as well, and the AI being so bad. If so, Tony, when you do play it, I'd love to see your thoughts on it. And I will have to revisit the game and actually complete it. But I tried. I bought it day one, and I love the visuals on PC with this ray tracing on. But stuff like the AI generally is dog shit. It's dog shit AI.
I was seeing that. Yep.
Yeah. Still, to this day, I'm very confident. The city does not feel alive, other than the landscapes are beautiful, but the NPCs just don't even... GTA 5 we're talking about, 2 gens old, ladies and gents, and that game slaps Cyberpunk in that regard, completely in terms of how alive that world is. Then they talked about player decisions. This is a big part. We went to media shows and all that stuff. In the trailers, they would keep talking about how divergent the gameplay would be. You'd be so ambitious that the game would be different if you did something different. But 80% of your choices don't even make a difference in the game. You're telling me, CD Projekt Red, are you going to be that ambitious to change the game that fundamentally to match the promises that you made prior to launch? 80% of the decisions will make a difference. That means fundamentally changing the game, changing the AI completely, wholesale.
It will.
Is that going to happen?
Yeah.
You think so?
The pedestrian AI will change, yes. It has to. It has
pedestrian
to.
AI, sorry, okay.
That's significant, though. That's the bit that put me right off the game, right? Not what they say, the way they walk into your character. So people have been saying, like, some people have played, and Tony was saying, like, maybe it was a great game for people that got through without encountering any bugs. Those people looked away. Like that's not true. You can't get through that game without bugs. I don't believe it. Don't believe the people that said that. I played it on a high-spec PC. Yeah. You cannot get through that game and say I did not encounter bugs. You can't. I don't believe it. Anyone that says that, no.
But would they still say that today if they played it today, I wonder?
Well, that's a good question, because I haven't played it today, and there have been a bunch of patches, and they haven't fixed fundamentally. So what put me off of it wasn't all the T-posing NPCs with their floating burgers and like minor bugs like that.
I had a guy walking around taking a piss on me. It was funny.
It's the fact that every time you stopped anywhere, like NPCs would just be walking into you, and it's just it's not a bug. It's just bad.
Yeah.
And they will revamp that, I'm sure they will. And in terms of blame, it's a really difficult one, because obviously management and like on a publisher level, they did some terrible things, right? Restricting reviews to only use like pre-prepared footage is sinister and shouldn't have been allowed.
Yeah, sinister is the right word.
The way that they handled their deadlines was just clowny, like what you do in releasing it in this state. But at the same time, as a publisher, the premise for the game was so simple. We've made The Witcher 3. Now we want to make an RPG like that in a different setting. Here you go, development team. You've got like 5 years. Make it good. So you can see the impossible situation that they ended up in when they gave such a simple premise to a development team, and what came back was something that put them in a position where now they've got like investors chasing money, and they've got this game that's not fit for purpose, and it should have been. All the pieces were there. It was such a simple concept and project, grand in scope but conceptually clear, right?
Conceptually,
there wasn't a player around the world that didn't understand what Cyberpunk 77 was supposed to be when it came out, right? It was clear. It was clear. It's The Witcher. It's in a cyberpunk world. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's a shame it came out the way that it did. But you can say, when they're saying as developers, like, actually, they think at some point it'll be recognized as a good game, and it probably will at some point. It'll never. No one is going to forget the state that it launched in. No one is going to forgive the state that it launched in. But they are going to get it to the point where people play it and say, that's fantastic. And I do believe that they will.
I'd love to be wrong on this. I'd love to be able to say, you know what? Damn, they did it. Why would I not want to be? For the purposes of being right, what's the benefit for me? Just saying, I told you so. It's not smart. It's just, I want to be proven wrong. Cyberpunk was my game. Like, my most anticipated game, man. I love Cyberpunk. That setting is me, my number 2 now movie of all time is Blade Runner. It's me. That's my number 1 thing. So At the same time, they're confident. And I like that they're working hard on it. And it must be resolute as well. So if it's a publisher problem, the devs are like, you bastards, we're going to sort this out because you put us in this mess. If that's the case, then let's go for it. Let's see what they do. But yeah, we have gone over the 1.5 hour mark. I was going to talk about these two topics, but maybe we'd relegate. Should we do it? I was going to do a year in review, but this might take us over the 2 hour mark. Chat. I'm sure you're enjoying it. There's 142 people watching. Thank you so much for watching it. Blade Runner is boring. Oh my. Okay, anyway, I'm not going to talk about... A year has gone by. Colt Eastwood did an incredible video on reviewing the Xbox, and he went through the negatives and the positives of what's going on. Kind of that's in my head as I talk about this now. I want to talk about let's talk about PlayStation, because we don't talk about PlayStation that much here. It's been a bit quiet on the PlayStation front, let's be honest, which will change next year. But PlayStation 5, a year after its launch, remember, just a reminder, especially in the core gaming circles, us lot here, you in chat, power was a big thing. That was a big thing. They're dominating it. I fell into the whole thing like the PlayStation might be really underpowered compared to the Xbox. And then we've had the games and the exclusives, and Microsoft with this X many studios. Year on later, and this ugly looking console. How did it actually perform beyond all those headlines? Mads, general takeaway. What do you think about the PlayStation 5? I can see the box in the background there on your cabinet or wherever. Yeah, that way. And I want to get your thoughts on chat. Let me know if you're impressed with the PlayStation, if you've been lucky enough to get one, because I know it's a problem that's still persisting, which is insane. What's your thoughts on the PlayStation? Have Sony done well with the console?
Yeah, I think they did a good job. Despite the fact that we were kind of, and I was like that as well. I was like, yeah, I mean, not enough teraflops, variable clock speeds and that kind of stuff, right? I never had a problem with PlayStation 5 per se, and because like 10, 12 teraflops, 20% difference, right? In terms of just computational power and that kind of stuff, right? Not much of a difference. Yeah. But still but not focusing on power alone. I'm quite impressed with what they delivered, because before the generation started, there was a narrative that Sony may be actually focusing on graphics rather than performance and that kind of stuff. So I was a bit annoyed about that, right? I was still hoping that they will focus on performance, right? And they did. Look what they did with backwards compatibility, which works, right? B, a number of updates to the older games like Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, the Horizon Zero Dawn, which was one of my, most, and I enjoyed that game a lot on PlayStation 4 back in the days. So there was a number of updates and stuff, right? So, and obviously now, well, starting last year, and that kind of continues, all these games coming, third party games run very well on PlayStation.
Sometimes
a lot
better.
of time. Exactly. A lot of times beating Xbox in terms of performance. Yes, Xbox may offer higher resolutions, right, because of the extra T-flops and stuff. But overall performance, if you actually, take all the games, starting from last November till today, if you really think about it, you may actually end up having better performing games on PlayStation 5. So yeah, PlayStation 5 is a really good console. And let's face it, developers are not really taking full advantage of it just yet either, right? There's still a lot of stuff because until developers will make cross-gen titles, and a lot of first-party games will be cross-gen up until end of 2022. Well, these next-gen features, even on PlayStation platform, won't be really used, right? There's an interesting video that Mark Cerny, I mean, I'm not saying that he made it, but he was in that video where he was talking about the PlayStation overall. He just kind of he was talking about how the console was created, how he worked with developers and that kind of stuff. And he actually was talking about that the SSD and the compression thing. So this is the thing that I'm most kind of impressed with PlayStation 5 right now, is that when you look at some of these games, PlayStation 5 is really using that compression, Kraken, however you want to call it, very well. And the thing is that I couldn't understand why is it that on PlayStation these games takes 20, 30 gigs, but on Xbox Series X 60, right? And it looks like Mark Cerny said that in that video from like a week or two, that they are the whole compression thing is actually hardware kind of controlled. Developers don't have to do anything with it, right?
Oh wow!
While on Xbox and PC, because it's kind of related now, like Xbox, PC, Xbox, same thing really. You have to use this, direct storage and all these new APIs, and developers don't do that because that's a proper next-gen feature, and if they still are making cross-gen titles, they won't use it. So PlayStation, in that regard, is actually making some next-gen stuff already, even for these cross-gen titles. So
on a hardware level,
so that was cool. So
That's
generally speaking,
that's
I'm quite surprised. I'm quite happy with what PlayStation 5 delivers, and both on hardware and software as well.
That's a very good take as well. Actually explained it in a way that I understand it, which just means well done, because I'm not a technical guy.
That's good to hear, because I don't even speak English properly. So
yeah, you do. What are you talking about? But Tony, that was an interesting thing because Mads is the hardware kind of tech guy as well. That's his content. So just seeing that the PlayStation performing well after a year of all the speculation, a lot of source about and doubts about it comparatively, and all the predictions. Obviously it's a year only, there's a lot to do as the devs get acquainted. But in terms of your view, but from and I don't think you have a PS5 yet, do you?
Not yet.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult. Good luck with that.
But I've been paying attention.
To find one.
Somewhat.
As a PlayStation fan, someone who hasn't got a PlayStation, what makes you? Are you feeling a little bit FOMO? And if so, how do you perceive PlayStation's performance in light of you owning an Xbox? Do you feel like you're missing out?
I was looking up there. I'm like, FOMO. I'm a grandpa, but what does that mean? And then I remember fear of missing out. Yeah. Okay. I not to plug in, but there's a whole video I have on this, just Samurai Kibaji Next Gen. It's there.
Oh yeah.
But
check it out.
It's just thoughts on the full year, and the nutshell is fear of missing out. It's more about those exclusives that I'm more like. I keep telling everybody, one of the games I wanted to play the most this year was Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Still haven't played it. My buddy has a PS5, and he's like, "You want to come over and start it?" I'm like,
in
"Dude,
an afternoon."
I don't want to eat a bite of the sandwich. I want to eat the sandwich. So,
yeah.
But yeah, what I really think, what I mentioned in the video is that it wasn't the year that PlayStation promised, but if it was, dude, holy crap.
Yeah.
By now we would have had, we would have had Ratchet, we would have had Little Big Planet, a new entry, we would have had God of War, we would have had Horizon, so much stuff jam-packed in the first year. And yeah, we didn't get all of it, but there was a decent amount, and I think PlayStation folks ate well, personally. If they got the money, I'll save this portion for the next part, but if they got the money to dish out on these games, there are exclusive games for that system that reviewed well. And especially a shout out to Ratchet. I I really wish I played it.
Yeah.
And I think I think the design is good, Gaz. I like the design. It's silly. That's why I like silly stuff. It looks so.
Well, you said it yourself. You like silly stuff. I can't argue with that.
Yeah, it's definitely silly. I 100% embrace that.
Yeah, that's fine. Fair enough. I know. I get it. Design and that stuff is subject.
Sorry, and the controller's dope. I've been hearing great things about like Returnal's sound design and the controller. That's another one. I wish I could experience. That is an exclusive as well with that technology. That's cool.
Yeah.
And Astrobot is a neat thing too.
Control overall is just much better than the PlayStation 4 controller. That's a big win for PlayStation guys.
Yeah, that's a huge win. The controller
it feels pretty nice in the hands, just like Xbox controller, I would say, right?
I
mean, the triggers needs to be fixed still, but
yeah, the triggers are weak in my opinion because of the haptic stuff. Like once the gimmick wears off, it's not a problem. But they copied the silhouette, the shape, and general form factor of the Xbox.
It feels very good in hands. Yeah.
Harry brings up Demon Souls. That's another one. Like there's
which we had playing on stream. That's just exactly. Hey, so what's your perception? Are you're a very discerning gamer who streams all sorts of stuff and PlayStation games as well. You've had some extensive coverage of Ratchet as well in dank 4K HDR that you upload. What's your view on PlayStation and how it's performed after a year and what you thought it would do? Negatives and positives, hardware and software, whatever interests you.
It's such a big topic. Like I could talk about both of the consoles' first years for quite a long time, and I'm not going to right now. But the PlayStation 5, it's had an impressive first year for a Sony console. And I say for a Sony console, for any console, right? Typically, especially launching with COVID and all the rest of it. And Insomniac rocked up and released Miles Morales and Ratchet and Clank. They've had Returnal, they've had Demon Souls. They're possibly not catering to every kind of gamer with those, with some of them being quite difficult and all the rest of it, but number of games, they've had a great first year. Right, and Deathloop as well. Yeah, it's a Microsoft studio, but it's a Sony game. Sony have navigated the waters to bring that game to their platform, and they'll continue to do that going forward. The hardware itself is performing. It's it's in a similar place to the Xbox on that one, in that it's fast and responsive. Xbox has obviously got
Are you looking at your X console right now?
I'm looking at it and thinking, what do I think of you? The PlayStation and the Xbox are both over there. I'm like, talk to me. What have we been doing? What have we been doing? And I remember when the two consoles came out, people were like, the Xbox dashboard is the same as the old one. It doesn't feel like a new console. And I remember saying at the time, like, that's not necessarily a good thing. That new feeling, that this software, I've never seen it before. That might be nice for one day. But you've got that console for a while longer, and it's not necessarily sensible to just rewrite the software for the sake of it. And you see in maturity of features, there's some exceptions where the Xbox falls over, like the DVR stuff, but maturity features besides that, the quick resume and things like that, their focus on evolving and adding features to an established operating system, and not a perfect operating system. I have some problems with the Xbox software in general, but building on it was the right approach. Sony shouldn't have started from scratch.
Interesting.
For me. The console and the games, no, they're doing well, as long as they keep that commitment. Obviously, you have to look outside of the hardware and the software and look in terms of services and what they're doing with pricing. And I think everybody can agree that we don't want to see prices keep going up. That's the big problem with Sony year one. They are pushing prices up. I just bought Demon Souls the other day on sale, and it was, I think, £49. Like, that's a launch price for me. That's not a price I wait a year for. That's a launch price, especially for a remake. Like, come on now. So there's things Sony are doing that I'm less pleased with.
Yeah.
But you can still trust them at the moment, at least. You can still trust them to put out those big games and to bring those games to their platform. They've got Final Fantasy 16 coming. Whether you like the fact that they're money out or not, it's a big game coming to the platform.
Yeah.
It's had a strong first year.
It's had a very strong first year.
And lots to look forward to, too. It's like it was a strong year with lots to look forward to as well.
Yeah, and they don't normally have year one like that, right? That's not a typical Sony trait to have a strong year one. So they are firing on all cylinders in a good way.
Yeah, I was going to say that actually. Face, thank you so much for the $20 super chat, man. Very generous of you. He says next year, this is what you were saying, Tony. Everyone will get something on the PlayStation 5. Horizon Forbidden West, God of War, GT7, Forspoken, Sifu. I'm glad you mentioned Sifu. Beginning of the next year. I don't know. I mean, those games are insane. I mean, Horizon Forbidden West and God of War launching at the same year is kind of crazy to me. I get it, they're delayed games. Gran Turismo, Racer, Forspoken doesn't get talked about. I know it's a third party, funny hat, whatever. But that game looks sick. Sifu though, Sifu is my.
Did you guys see the gameplay of that Chinese game? I forgot the name of it. Like not Wuchang.
Yeah,
something.
I know what you're talking about.
Unreal. On Unreal
or something.
Yeah, something like that. On Unreal Engine 5, that game looks sick. Apparently.
Which game? Which game?
We're trying to remember the title of it.
Is it Wukong? Black Myth Wukong?
Exactly, that's the one. Yeah,
Black Myth Wukong.
It's running on Unreal Engine 5. Apparently, there's some rumors that it might be a timed exclusive for PlayStation 5 as well.
Oh man, if they do that
game. I mean, hey, check it out after the show. That game
I've seen
looks
that. Yeah, sick.
fire.
Black Myth. If that's exclusive, I saw the rumors about Black Myth Wukong. Oh my god, Microsoft, you better war. That's war. You need to start getting ugly with this battle because you cannot do that. Black Myth Wukong looks sick. It looks mad. It's running to show the gameplay on it. Unreal Engine 5 looks mad. If they swipe that, which would be smart buy PlayStation if you buy that. And I'm sure the entry of the exclusive for a new studio working on a new IP is not that comparatively expensive to something like Forspoken, for instance. It could actually happen. The rumor mill's running. If that happens, that's going to send shockwaves, in my opinion, even though it's like a Demon Souls game. That's more niche. But the game was one of the few proper next-gen looking games when they released it. So yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, Mads. That is doing the rumor mill. If that becomes exclusive, there will be blood. There will be anti-source videos being released. That happens. Shino, that's a bit political. The game is good. The developers, I'm sure, are great people. But let's not worry about which country they originate from. This perspective, the governments. Yeah, I love what they're doing. I love the fact that we've seen more. There's a Korean outfit as well that's doing a very promising looking Soulsborne type of game as well. Very graphically, I forget the name of it. What the hell was the name? Black Myth Wukong. Yeah, I think you know what I'm talking about, but this game looks sick. If that's exclusive to PlayStation, oh damn, that is so raw. But in terms of my view on general PlayStation, I haven't actually, because of my setup, and I mean house move, I'm desperate to get the TV installed. Dodge. I can play these games.
You lazy swine.
I can't. If you think I can do that, I can barely conversate and talk. You drill stuff, and I'm terrible at that. I barely make a sandwich. You're asking me to put an thin OLED above this monitor here. It's just bad news written all over it, but it's gonna happen. Dodge, please come over this weekend. Yeah, so. I think PlayStation actually is going to have an incredible gen. I think that PlayStation started off a great year one. I think it's a victim, not victim. It's part of circumstantially because PlayStation 4 games kind of pushed back to PlayStation 5 and they become cross-gen. Generally, I don't like Sony's. I'll be honest. I don't like. I do it for the theatrics, but I don't like Sony's dishonesty in the way they're the cross-gen stuff. I just feel like they treat us like mugs. Like that, I'm surprised they didn't get enough flack on. I'm still surprised they didn't get enough flack on the pricing, because how anti-consumer can you get with $70? They're the ones leading the charge with that. You're blatantly telling us lies about cross-gen. You're blatantly pushing this pricing up. And you're sticking to that. And I don't like your lack of transparency, especially comparatively. Change that. Communicate with us more if you want to be in our good books. Because I think general core sentiment, even the most hardcore PlayStation fans are finding it hard to defend sometimes when they're relying on the games argument, because that's their last bastion. Other than the power thing, which hasn't really panned out for the Xbox folks as much as they wanted. So PlayStation generally is doing really well where it matters with games, but it has a lot of competition, needs more variety. But generally, it's been a great first year for the PlayStation, and the hardware has a lot of promise. And Mads summed it up really well with the tech side of things. So yeah, It's great.
I just wanted to add one thing to the PlayStation, because I was very positive towards PlayStation, right? And hey, I'm very happy with the console and stuff. But you actually bring a good point with the pricing. And here in Poland, we've been hit with the price hike big time, because like when I first heard about the price hike from going from 60 to 70, I was like, okay, that's like $10. That's like 40 zlotys, right? Here in Poland, that's not much, right? So that's like, two, like whatever, right? A bottle of vodka, right? That's not, but then I found out that like when you translate that to Polish, right, to Poland, and whatever, they raised the prices by 40%. So that wasn't like $10. They raised the price. The prices here in Poland went from 60, equivalent of $60, to equivalent of $95. So
That's
guys in US complain about extra $10. We've got 35 extra to pay now.
Jeez.
So how do I feel about it? Well, I feel bad about it, and that's why I don't buy PlayStation games day one, because fuck no, I'm not going to be paying that kind of money,
especially when I've quid per game.
Especially like, listen, if there wasn't a Game Pass, maybe that wouldn't be that bad of a look. But I've got games for free in Game Pass.
That's where
for
a
price. Listen, for a price of one PlayStation 5 game, I've got almost a year of Game Pass.
That's insane. Well,
how many games in Game Pass for 1 year Game Pass? Like, it's just crazy. I just buy PlayStation 5 games on sale.
I'm the same. I don't even. So I bought Ratchet, Spiderman, and something else, Demon Souls. Bought it like on CD on sale because I feel like a mug paying for that. This is a guy who pays ridiculous amounts on microtransactions, but it just doesn't feel right. But $90, man, I would never pay them.
By the way, that's not only Polish problem, right? I hear the same. I'm in Australia and Brazil,
someone
India.
in South, Brazil,
there's people are paying crazy money for these games there. So that's why Game Pass is such a good.
Colt is so messy in chat. It goes, imagine having to pay $95 for a PlayStation 5 exclusive. Imagine day and date, one and done game done, $95. There's a premium. That's a lot of money, man. This is why I think there needs to be more noise about it. Typically with PlayStation games, they are single player games. I don't know how you can justify that, principally because of the competition. And then we're going to go into that. The competition, Xbox. 1 year on, Colt Eastwood with his amazing voice. How did Xbox fare after a year? And someone in chat in his comments goes,
was so bad. Colt, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for what just happened.
Well, that's not so
You don't sound like that.
so bad. I don't know. I don't have to do Colt's voice. He's got too much bass for me to copy. But he did an incredible video on it, and I really liked it. I watched it twice because he re-uploaded it and edited it version because he's such a stickler for detail and he's a perfectionist. In the video, he reminded us about some of the things I actually forgot about. And Xbox, also like PlayStation, has had highs and lows. And I want to talk to you, Tony. You've had the benefit of playing it. And to set the scene, though, I will set the scene with your video when you got it and you tried to set it up and download stuff and you had problems, and in fact that was a conversation that sparked a bit of like an argument internally with my friends in WhatsApp. I'm like, he's not happy with it because that's a problem with the Xbox. What's going on? Why is it not updating? Why is it not downloading? That was an interesting
screenshots. Yeah.
I was like, look at this is what you did. But what is your take on Xbox Series X a year on and what you were expecting going in?
So again, just summarizing, the first half of this year, I was just playing, as a lot of folks like to throw it in the face of stuff, have fun playing your old ass games or whatever. Sorry for using that word, but like that's what everybody was just saying. That's just have fun playing old games. Yeah, admittedly, I played through the Mass Effect trilogy. Like that's what I did for the first half of the year, and I was mixing in stuff through Game Pass that was popping up. But
which we'll get into.
Yeah, but man, the back half of the year, it has been so busy. It has been so busy, and first party wise too. And that's just me on the side of games of things. Like I've still been meaning to try Age of Empires 4, but and I love Psychonauts 2. Might be my game of the year, maybe. But I just experienced It Takes Two with Josh from Quest Mode, awesome channel.
Shout out to Josh.
Yeah, but there's like so many games I played this year because of that. And I have to bring that up because I feel like that's the core of what Xbox is now. But if I'm just talking about the system itself, controversial statement, but I feel like that's the biggest value you get if you're on that specific platform. But the system itself, man, it's been so different. I will never forget. I don't know if anybody here has played Second Extinction.
Oh no, I haven't.
The dinosaur game. Dude, I was playing with my friends. I think I have B-roll of this somewhere. They sent me a clip of it from their Xbox One. It looks so bad. And they're like, how are you playing this right now? You're not seeing this? I'm like, dude, I'm playing on Series X. And I sent them the footage of mine, and they're like, this is night and day difference.
Oh, really? So it's cross-gen, you're playing together, but it looks different.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. So just like in terms of the games I've been playing, they're running so dang awesomely. I never run into problems. And maybe that's why I'm not seeing as many bugs in 2042. I don't know.
Yeah.
And in terms of game output, new big hype titles for the first half of the year. Not too much for me personally, but the back half and beyond, I'm like, I don't have enough time. Yeah, I don't have enough time. That's my closing statement. I don't have enough time to be on Xbox right now, but I am making it work.
No, that's a good problem to have. And it's a great problem for Xbox that typically had a problem of anemia when it came to gaming experiences and first-party ones. Hoggy Channy, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He goes, and I make the news reel again. Of course you do. Pretty soon I'll be appearing on Go Live. You never know. You never know. Thank you for the shout-out. Thank you for the support, Hoggy. It means a lot, honestly. Had to put you in the news reel. Yeah, so that's quite good. Like, and a good contrast there, actually, with the pretty barren start where we were asking. I want to say this, Mads, before I get to Acer. There was a problem with the Xbox and its launch, and it had nothing. It had nothing for its launch, and I think things are different now. What's your take on the Xbox, and perhaps maybe your thoughts on the hardware as well? Because you did a very good summary of how things have progressed with the PlayStation. What's your general view? I don't want to guide you on it. Just tell me what you think about the Xbox you're on.
Yeah, let's start with software maybe. Nothing really to play first party at the launch of the console. Obviously, they had Gears, Tactics, and actually. Game that nobody really spoke about, Gears 5 Hivebusters, right? So DLC, that 3 hours DLC. So that was in December. That was pretty much it, right? There was a bunch of third-party games, obviously, better versions of these games on Xbox Series X and that kind of stuff. Medium was kind of cool. I did like that game. It had a lot of it was kind of Polish game with a lot of Polish history in that. So it's kind of like, it was a little bit, I look at that game a little bit differently because I'm Polish and I kind of get a lot of stuff that was in the game, all the Polish references and stuff. So I did like it. But then, there was nothing up until like June when Flight Simulator actually came out. And, luckily they got the Game Pass. So we MLB the show. I mean, that's not game for me, but a lot of people actually enjoyed it. I actually liked Outriders, and luckily I had no issues with it. Right, so I beat that game without any issues on Xbox Series X. There was some games on Game Pass and stuff. So obviously third party. There was number of updates, FPS boost for the older titles and that kind of stuff. what I think what saved Xbox Series X at the very beginning for me was the fact that it was a brand new console. I really was into like testing all these older titles. I wanted to make sure, I wanted to know how they work and that kind of stuff. There was a lot of buzz surrounding, all the next gen features and that kind of stuff, right? Quick resume and whatever, right? So there was a lot of things going on back then, and obviously. Then we started getting those games from Xbox Studios, Flight Simulator, Psychonauts 2, which took me by surprise. One of the best games I played this year as well. Then, a number of other games in Game Pass. Forza Horizon, I'm a big Forza guy. Loved it as well. Still playing. I'll be playing that game for the next 2 years probably.
Me and you both.
Exactly. So we've got some, Halo at flight tests and stuff. Now it's we just on the brink of Halo campaign launching. So like it's kind of like obviously first half of the year, after the launch and stuff was kind of weak on the software side, I would say, first party side. But the second one is just like they are starting to get the momentum and stuff. And now even if you, and that's despite a lot of delays, because Warhammer Darktide, Crossfire X, Scorn, and I'm probably missing some other games. These titles were planned for this year and they got delayed. So, which kind of makes things interesting, because despite the fact that there's not going to be much of a first party content in the first half of the 2020, there's going to be these delayed games that will fill the gaps, in my opinion, right? So, so like, it's like, a year of two halves, I guess, right? I guess like on PlayStation side of things, everything was more balanced out. There was always something, cool to play, I guess, right? Maybe except like last month, maybe two. As for the hardware, the thing is like, I'm quite happy with what this console delivers. Similar to PlayStation, I was kind of worried that developers will focus more on resolution and graphics rather than performance. Luckily, that's not the case. Interesting enough, a lot of games run at 120 frames per second and that kind of stuff. That's not my type of thing really, because like most of these games run at 1080p or lower resolution, so I don't really want to go there. I mean, if I really want to play some 120 frames per second games, I play on PC, because like then I can have both high resolution and frame rate. So I love the whole FPS boost, backwards compatibility, all these improved games and stuff, right? So I love that. I was actually a little bit disappointed with the way Xbox Series X actually performs in comparison to PlayStation 5, because there was a lot of talk about the power, the performance and that kind of stuff, all these tools and that everything. So I guess Microsoft took me by surprise with not delivering the tools on time, I guess, right? And developers not being ready and not being kind of used to it and stuff. So generally speaking, I'm quite happy with both Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. And I mean, I can't wait to see more, because like we're still in this cross-gen kind of period. There hasn't been really many proper next-gen games. And if you look at that, I keep forgetting the name of that Chinese game running on Unreal Engine 5. This is what next gen looks like. And that's what I'm looking forward to. And that's starting probably next year.
And that's quite interesting. I like that segue there, because that kind of looks at what comes forward. Asa, you summed up the PlayStation very well. You're a man with a 3090, a Series S, a Series X. Surely can't compare, or do they? And how do they, in light of a PlayStation that offers a unique experience?
Yeah, I'm in a slightly strange position, having a PC that will stomp on both consoles, and obviously the catalog is pretty much entirely shared between the Xbox and the PC. But the Xbox is a really nice console to use, and if you have any doubts about how nice it feels to use, just go back to the Xbox One or the Xbox One X for like 20 minutes. and you'll recognize straight away, like, wow, I'm in a different world now playing with. The same's true of the PlayStation, right? It's responsive as well, and it's a different ball game to the old consoles. So I had in terms of my, like, I don't want to go too much into like my own history, but I played the Xbox 360 for like 2 or 3 years when it had all those cracking games like your Mass Effects and your Bioshocks and all that kind of stuff that was revolutionizing things. I played console back then, and then the console got long in the tooth next to PC, and the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, as hardware goes, they launched as disappointing consoles.
Yeah.
So they were very much drives. Like, it's just the processors and the hard drives. I mean, the fact that they had hard drives was probably the best thing about those consoles, but they launched to be cheap. And that gen, the whole gen at 30 frames per second, when those came out, I was already used to 60, so that was suffering. And they had good games, don't get me wrong, like you could have fun with those consoles, but they launched as bad hardware. The 2 new consoles are exciting hardware, even for me who's got serious hardware on my PC. These are great to use. That's the Xbox and the PlayStation. The Xbox, we all know that it had a relatively disappointing year in terms of first party output the first year, particularly Forza Horizon 5 has kicked off something new, but that's pretty much a whole year into the console's life cycle. Forza Horizon and Halo hopefully paint a picture of what kind of Microsoft we're getting going forwards. And that's exciting in itself, because those, and Psychonauts and Deathloop and all these other things that Microsoft are getting involved in are hitting quality in a way that Microsoft haven't for a lot of years.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So it's promising for that console. And again, when you hold it up next to a PC and you look at how much it costs, it's going to be a long time until you can get a PC that's in the same ballpark as a console. And they're phenomenally placed, and I hope everyone's having a ton of fun with them. I know I am, and who can argue with how snappy it is to quick resume between games? I can't do that on a PC.
I was about to say, we didn't talk about quick resume.
Yeah, quick resume talk about that as well.
And it's totally in the way that to be fair, I find quick resume works more often than the simple suspend and resume with the PlayStation. So you can criticize quick resume, but basic suspend resume doesn't work either on the PlayStation. So quick resume is great. And in the same way that ditching discs kind of revolutionized how many games I can play. When I had discs, I'd very rarely play certain games because you can't be bothered to change a disc just to have a little go on a fighting game, and then change it back to have a go on a racing game, and then change it back to have a go on whatever story you were playing. Quick resume has taken it to another level. You're like, I'm going to flick in and do a couple of races of that, and then I'm going to play a bit of that. Actually, I do fancy going back to this one that I've paused over here, and you just play so much, especially with Game Pass obviously adding to that. You just play so much. And the console has brought that in spades. So massively promising future for that one.
Absolutely. No, definitely. That's a very good way to sum it up. Hoggy Chani, thanks so much for the $5 super chat. Goes, had Halo come out in a finished state, don't even know what that is anymore, at launch, would Xbox have had a better launch with only Halo brackets Gears Tactics? Good question, and absolutely yes, Halo alone would have carried the torch massively. This would have been a different conversation. We still haven't even had a finished Halo, and we've got the multiplayer released first. Don't care about the beta tag. That is the multiplayer. They're released piecemeal. If it had come out full, it would have been, and depending on its quality, it would have been amazing. That's all it needed. Halo is that big, in my opinion. Jedi Knight Peter, thank you so much for the Australian $10. I know it's early there. Risk it for the biscuit, will confirm. Just dropping in quickly to show my support. Keep those source videos coming. Thank you so much for the super chat, and thank you so much for just giving us egging us on with the source videos. I'm glad you like it, and please, people, enjoy it in the spirit that it's in, if it's not abundantly clear. Jeff Keighley, we're having fun at your expense. No, we're not really. Maybe. I'll sum up. Shout out to Kane Productions and Mav, Fun Speculation in the chat as well. I see you, and everyone on Triple X, Horatio. I see all of you. Nix, I'm the same. Quick resume is huge. There's been big difference. I play through 4K capture utility here on the, because whatever situation, but Quick resume is the I thought a lot of people. So there are a few things this year. Last year, people said a few things were gimmicks. Quick resume was going to be a gimmick. I don't think that's a gimmick at all. In fact, that's been a game changer for the way I experience games. It's so different. A lot of people attest to it. When it works, it's insane. And it's magical when it works. I went back to Yakuza. I haven't played it in weeks. And I went started back to where I was. I'm like, what? That's just magic. I swear I've unplugged this and put it back in. It's just weird.
This is very important because, like, I've heard a lot of PC guys that never used Quick Resume on Xbox, where they're like, "Oh, I've got super fast NVMe, even faster than Xbox." Yeah, but they are missing the point. It's not about how quick the game is going to load. It's about, because even if you load that game on PC very quickly, you will still have to go. Like you will start from the last save checkpoint, whatever, right? With Quick Resume, you don't have to worry about that. Like you said, you literally start, you're starting the same place where you left off, right? And
it's just crazy. Magic. That's magic. So that's the huge thing, the Quick Resume. Combined with Game Pass. That combo is insane. Like, if you asked me if Game Pass is going to be what it is now, I would have been like, damn. Because Game Pass it's so good. I understand when people say, is this sustainable? Because it's so good. It seems like it's too good to be true. It sounds like me just marketing it and romanticizing it. But really, like today, like Kane, who does our incredible montages, well, shout out to Kane. I was in Discord with him and he's like, oh, you have to play Edith Finch. What's it called? What happened to Edith Finch? Or whatever the name is, Edith Finch. So, and I'm like, okay. I was going to buy on PC, then I'm like, wait, let me check Xbox and see if we check Game Pass. Lo and behold, it's there. And then there was another game, and download, that's there as well. So now my go-to is it on Game Pass? And that says a lot about a service where the chances are it's actually going to be there. I have saved so much money to spend it all on Halo Infinite. No, but I've spent so much money.
Yes.
Yeah, I know, I'm a problem. But for all of you in chat, everyone in panel, how much have we saved money-wise? We have saved so much money. We're not going to pay other than microtransactions for Halo Infinite. We haven't paid. I haven't paid anything apart from like £3 for the treasure map on Forza Horizon because I want 100% that. But
you know what? I'm not sure how about you, but like what I found is that like, I don't spend money on first-party Microsoft content or any content that is on Game Pass already, other than DLCs, whatever, right? Like Forza DLCs, I bought them, right, and stuff.
Yeah.
But what I found is that like it's not like I'm not so because people say, oh, so Microsoft is not going to get your money then, right? Other than that subscription. Well, that's not true, because the thing is like, if I don't spend that money on Halo, Forza, I will spend it on some other games in the service
on the PlayStation.
So, well, no, I'm not paying $100 for games. I told you already. No, by the way. No, I will spend some money on PlayStation as well, but like PlayStation, I play exclusives, and that's pretty much it for the most part. But so I will spend the money that I saved from not spending on first-party Xbox games, I will spend on third-party games in Xbox Live or PC, right? So, I mean, most of that money that I would spend on that first-party is probably going to go to Xbox anyway. So,
yeah. It is, and that's the smart play, because the environment is where you invest your money in, even if you're not paying for the day one product. And it makes you feel like that. It makes you feel like, I feel a bit guilty. I've saved this much money and not playing for this game, so I can spend this on skins. Yeah, that's my excuse. But generally, like, and yeah, you're right, Harry Bozak. It's for, not to say for like poorer people or people who are not financially well off, or different countries. It doesn't even translate well, the price of games in like someone who's the chap, I always forget, you're from Brazil and you tell me the price and the average earning wage. It doesn't scale at all. Game Pass and people get annoyed. Game Pass. Like, we're marketing. No one pays us. Microsoft does not pay us. They took one look at source videos. They're like, never to associate with these guys again. But, well, they never did. But it's just, Game Pass is like Alana Pierce when she was a year ago. She was really good at explaining how amazing a game changer that was.
I think I saw that video. Yep.
You saw that?
But just to prove that we're not sponsored, like, do remain a little bit skeptical. When you see those people that you don't like saying, oh, everything's going service because of Game Pass, don't entirely dismiss it like it can't happen. Just keep an eye on it, because Halo not being in Game Pass is it's not insignificant. All right, that multiplayer being free to play when they're already pushing people onto Game Pass. I'm not. So I agree with everything positive about Game Pass. There's a lot of great stuff going on in there.
Yeah.
At the same time, when you have conversations about like Forza Horizon's early access premium pack and stuff, the one thing that you can say is true is that Microsoft are always going to be looking to monetize these games further. So when people talk about the sustainability of Game Pass, just keep an eye on that. They will always be looking to monetize these games further, and that's not necessarily worse. It's not necessarily a case of it being better or worse than what Sony do if they're selling a game for 70 quid. I'm not saying prices going up is better, but don't completely like just assume that Game Pass is your lord and savior. Like, Microsoft is still a corporation. They still want your money, so take the good and keep an eye on the bad. Not sponsored.
Definitely do keep an eye on
Thieves. Gears 5 and Sea of Thieves. Those are games you have to pay for if you want to own, but if you look into them, there are ways you could pitch into it that I'm sure some do. So
yeah, definitely. And
good games,
you're very good. Yeah. And Halo Infinite's problems are a symptom of Game Pass, I'm sure. They will definitely do that. There are immediate problems as such because of Game Pass as a result. Do you know what? Okay, this is going to be like, we're really positive, and then now it's kind of turned in negative thanks to Asa. But
I'm not.
Halo Infinite is that. See, if Halo Infinite, I'm telling you now, chat, if the campaign you're paying £60 for, or $60, whatever it is, does not offer value for money, and it's not stellar, that's all you're paying for. You're paying 60 quid just for the campaign. If the campaign on its own is not good enough, and that's Halo, that means they can do this with any game. And I just don't know if I pray 343 smash it with the campaign, or pray for 2 weeks we'll be stressing about the campaign and how they smash that out. But if Halo can't escape the grips of that model that Game Pass invites, nothing will. So Asa, you are right, but in the immediacy of things, the good outweighs the bad generally now, speaking in 2021. And it's thank you for saving me money, and thank you.
Starfield is one I've got my eye on. Starfield is the real interesting case study in terms of
why? Because of the
how they build around it, because it's being built as a single player RPG like the previous ones. So it's a curious case to see what they do with it. There's not at the moment, like, everything looks on course to be a massive game that's included in Game Pass. But it's just an interesting one to keep an eye on to see if that's how it plays out.
If you're
don't these Bethesda games have like microtransactions anyway? Like,
I mean, Bethesda invented them, right, with horse armor.
Horse armor,
exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the way to do it, like some cosmetics and that kind of stuff.
They could do that. If the first,
I mean, listen, hey, Star Citizen is selling, ships for like $1,000.
I'm so glad I'm not playing that game. But yeah, that's a good point.
There will be narrative stuff. Like, I see Mr. Orange. I think most curious case on Xbox is Hellblade 2. That'll be strictly a story game. Strictly story. So
a very good point. I think Hellblade 2 is even more exciting than Starfield, because that's where if they even think, so with Starfield, they introduced, like you said, the horse armor, like Mads was saying, like they maybe have cosmetics. But the Hellblade, unless there's a multiplayer component, which in itself raises some few arguments, which it will, which I doubt they'll have multiplayer.
I doubt, yeah.
That means that's a game where if they monetize that through, I don't think they can.
I don't think they can. I don't think they can. Every game, no.
Yeah, because that
would be
some
things they think maybe, and some things no, we can't.
Yeah, and that's the attitude, Tony. They'll be like, we'll have to take a hit on that one, and that's how they'll see it, in my opinion, in terms of like, we'll take a hit on that. We can't get away with charging for that. Psychonauts 2, that didn't have anything, did it?
No.
That was already done. So. It's not a great case study.
I think it will depend on the budget, because like if you look at like Psychonauts 2 or Hellblade 2, right? I mean, these are the titles that are being worked by like, you know, Ninja Theory has got like 40 or 50 people working on that game. So we're not really talking about like a proper AAA kind of budget, right, for that game. So maybe Microsoft approach is like, okay, so if we're talking about like cheaper game, we don't necessarily have to monetize it extra. But if we're talking about Skyrim, or I mean, what's the name? Starfield, which has been in development for like 5 decades, right? And that's going to be, you know, huge budget. We'll have to get some money back from. So I think it may be related to the budget rather than, let's just put microtransactions in every single game.
Yeah, very good point. Very good point. That must be that way because it has to scale with the budget. So yeah, it can't just be an arbitrary rule. Let's just chuck stuff in there. I'm sure it's deeper than that. Well, one of the longest shows, 2.5 hours, but it was great. That was great. Such a good way to wrap up the year, even though it's not the end of the year, but that's really good. Yeah. Oh, I've just seen your message saying you have to go really soon, sir.
Sounds like we're
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to wrap it up. It's been an incredible show. Thank you so much, everyone in chat. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please smash the like button on the way out before we go out. I have to give the gents and a chance to say goodbye. Tony, aka Samurai KBG, always a pleasure to have you on, man, and I hope it's not long till we have you again soon. Tell people where they can find you and what's in store for the fellow otakus.
Oh, thank you. Oh, well, you can find me on Twitter at Samurai KBG, YouTube Samurai KBG, and if you like anime, there's a little channel called Westside Otaku for you. We just Samurai KBG. I'm bringing back an old series that's super fun called Social Madness, where I'd love to have folks maybe hear on it, but just good times in games. That's the nutshell. Just had Jess, Captain Kid, a lot of cool people on that. So check that out. It's going to be a very low viewed video, I would imagine, but just itching that creative itch. Just as you did your Squid Game thing. That thing was wild, dude. But yeah, it was good to see everybody here. So thanks for coming, guys. Same, just to chat. It was good talking with you guys.
Thank you for coming on as well. It's always a pleasure, and please do check his content out.
Oh, and I'm gonna be in an Xbox documentary.
Are you?
Did you not see that? Like in that they have a 6-part documentary, and the video, Gaz, that brought me to you.
Oh, that video.
Xbox, that video. They're like, can we use that as B-roll?
That's
like,
sick. Sure. That's sick.
I'll send you it. I'm surprised if you didn't see that. I think Asa might have thought, but.
Oh jeez, that's how I found you. Is you have to see his reaction to how Xbox Series X got revealed in the Video Game Awards. That's how I met him. I had to reach out to him.
He wants to see it. He wants.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, that's great. That's so great. Yeah, definitely let them use that. That's amazing. But check it out. Check out Samurai KBG channel. Ilo Drummond, thank you so much for linking that in chat. Last but certainly not least, it's Mr. Mads there with his moisturized skin looking all sexy and she.
Oh no.
No, don't hide your face, Brad. It's too late now. It's 2.5 hours of you. But it's always a pleasure having you on. It's always a pleasure. I'm so glad I got to meet you through Dealer as well. And shout out to Dealer and all the people and Colt and all these guys who've supported us from day one. Thank you so much. But Mads, you always put a smile to my face, and you always have really balanced takes as well. And your tech side of your knowledge, you explain it in a way that I understand. I hope you had a good time in the show. I hope you come back soon and swim the source with us. Tell our viewers where they can find you, and tell Rand Althor, who has joined as well. Hey, Rand, where can people find you? What's in store for Mads Gaming in the future?
Yeah, always pleasure to be on your show, man. I really love the conversations, the panel, and that kind of stuff. It's always fun, and I love the sauce, sauce videos as well. Exactly. So yeah, enjoy the show a lot. Thanks a lot for the invite again. Anytime when you invite me, I'm always ready, man. Always ready. So you can find me on Twitter, Mads Gaming PL. And YouTube, Mads Gaming. So check my channel out if you like that kind of if you like tech talk, Xbox talk a little bit as well. So you guys take care.
Thank you. No, honestly, thank you. And check out his channel. It's really good tech talk. Absolutely. Asa, tell people where they can find you. I'm not going to forget. So what's happening? What's in store for your fans and for me, your biggest fan?
Oh, that's really nice. This was a great chat, and the stuff that we're talking about, I can sit and talk about for hours and hours and hours. I don't say all that much on Go Live because we've got a guest and the show's all about them and chat and all the rest of it. But hop into my Twitch channel during the week if you want to chat more to me, because I don't shut up. And I'm there every day. I'm playing Demon Souls at the moment. I've just finished the medium, which, by the way, Mads, the whole Polish history that you're talking about is actually, it's really well done as you get into the meat of that game. So that was actually fascinating for people outside of Poland as well. And yeah, I'm playing all sorts of stuff.
There's some dark stories there. Polish history is a bit dark as well.
And it's
like all history.
It's like that game in particular, the first hour or two really put me off, but then I played it again at a later point and was like, oh, actually, there's a game here. There's a good game here. So there's that. I'm playing PlayStation, Xbox, PC, VR, everything, always there. So yeah, come chat. Even you guys, if you're going to keep being my biggest fan.
Yeah, even me. I'm there to troll you almost exclusively, but do check him out. Yeah. But thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for checking us out. This has been an incredible year, but we will say stay tuned. More Source definitely already in the works. Lots. Probably our most ambitious one is the next one. The two, actually, but wait and see. Thank you so much. Please like, subscribe, share it out, retweet, and join this competition to win this controller. It is a dang controller, and I'd love to see who actually wins it. I hope it's not some random. Hey, so you saw out the competition. But thank you so much. Please check out GameOnDaily.com, the news aggregation platform, which we are confident will be the future of how you disseminate your gaming news. Otherwise, please have a lovely weekend. I'll see you next week. Take care.